Hello, Carlo. Thanks for calling into the GoWIN Radio Show. Who is this?
Hey, man, what's going on? It's your boy KO, man. What's cracking, Nico?
Hey, what's good, KO, man? What's happening with you, man? Well, first of all, let everybody know what's going on with you because at this time, first and foremost, I appreciate you for calling into the GoWIN Radio Show. I got my main man, Malik Pinkney here. Man, hey, look, that's
still Malik. It's still Malik the Freak for the weekend.
Okay, thank you.
It's still Malik the Freak for the weekend.
Yeah, because I'm struggling with that.
No, it's cool. Boy. It's cool, man. It's a corporate thing, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Man.
We try to keep it corporate up here as best we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
The best we can. So look, but no, straight up though, for those of you and for all of our listeners out there, my man, KO, who's singer, formerly of All For You. And currently, right now, he's doing his thing with Faces You Know band, and they're doing real big things out here in the city. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. This talented young brother right here used to come through the station all the time and do his thing, but he's currently in a hell of a situation right now, and he wants to reach out to all of you, let you know what's going on and how you can help with the situation. Go ahead, KO.
Hey, man, yeah, man. If you're watching news yesterday, that big fire was my folks' crib. That's where I reside, take care of my mom. I'm not sure how much we lost, but I'm pretty much sure it's everything. If it's not due to fire, it's due to water blockage. So, right now, hold on, fire truck passing right now, headed right back there.
Dang.
Yeah, they flying through here, man.
So what's the hey KO? Tell everybody the address for the area for those who haven't seen the news. You know, give them a little bit of detail. You know, so because some people might be hitting. I mean, I know some people just don't even like watching the news. So give everybody.
Yeah. But what happened was something. We live on the 3rd floor, and it's 4 floors. Something happened on the top floor where a fire was caught. I wasn't home. My mom called me in a panic outside from someone's phone. She left everything in the house. Said there's a big fire. I should get home. So I went. It took me about an hour to get home. When I got home, 3 blocks away, I'm choking in smoke. 3 blocks away before I even got to the house. So when I turned the corner, there was a blaze and fire on the roof. And it was going, the fire started around 3. They were still putting out fire at 9 o'clock last night. So it was like 4 or 5 trucks, one on each corner of the building with the tall fire hoses shooting over the top of the building. It was crazy. It was unreal. But pretty much, man, all my, you guys know I do music. I produce also. So all of my equipment was in there. Everything I owned.
What?
Over at least $8,000 worth of products, man.
What kind of equipment? What kind of equipment you talking about?
We talking about TLM 103 Neumann microphone, UAD processors for studio effects. I had a Mac tower that I built from scratch that's worth over $2,000.
What?
Yeah, a lot of stuff in there, man. All my everything, even my catalogs of production I did since I've been producing music, is in the house.
Man, no, bro.
Yeah, man. Like I'm not really worried about it too much, but that catalog, you can't get that back. I don't care how much somebody says today it's gonna get better. God's gonna bless you with double. I got stuff in there that belongs to other people that I did. Yeah, I got projects that I'm scheduled to put out now in there that I can't even fix anymore.
Well, from what I understand, you had a loved one who could potentially been in that fire that wasn't there. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that was my mom who called me from outside. So that was the main thing, that she was able to get out. She's safe, so I get home, see she's good. After all that's done, she left her medicine. She can't get her meds, so she needs proper medicine to function. And me, you know, I need my meds with the music to function. So that's where it's at for me. I'm really not concerned with me. I can wear the same clothes and wash them every day and be good. But when it comes to my music, you already know how I am with the music, Nico.
Yeah. It's your passion.
You already know, man.
So let me ask you this, bro. If somebody, and we hope all, would like, you know, to help out with your situation, because I'm gonna tell you, bro, because this is one thing that we have to do as a community, and I'm talking about as a music community, whether you're in go-go, rap, whatever you're doing. As a DC community, we have to take care of our own. And if we don't, we are failing. We are failing as a people. We have to take care of our own. So when Miss Lady hit me this morning and told me about this, I said, KO was in that situation? Look, tell him to call in. She tagged you on Facebook. I appreciate you, sis. So tell anybody, you know, what they can do, how they can help out, you know, with the situation right now.
Hey, man, we take from Cash App to gift cards. I haven't set up a GoFundMe yet, but anything that can contribute. Like I said, I'm walking around in my yesterday's clothes that I had to wash last night. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's moving on from here. I saw a few people that sent me something, so I'm gonna run to the store and handle today's business.
Well,
but other than that,
I mean, what's the Cash App? If I mean, where's the information? Where can they go to find this information to help you out?
My Cash App, is $ KO Sings. Real simple. KO Sings. $ KO Sings.
Okay, we're gonna put that out there. Miss Lady, I hope you're listening. But yeah.
And anything else, man, they can send it to you that I can meet you, man. I appreciate everything, brother.
No problem, bro, man. Matter of fact, we gonna me and Miss Lady, we gonna get on top of something, man. We gonna have something. We gonna set up something right here. This is gonna be the camp for you, man. We promise you. We got you, bro.
Appreciate it, champ.
All right, thanks for calling in, KO.
No problem. Y'all take it easy, man. God bless you.
You too. God bless you and your family, brother.
Thanks, man.
All right. Woo, man. Malik,
that's tough, man.
That's a hell of a situation, bro.
Yeah, man. Like,
I mean, my main man, Dwayne Nutt, he went through that himself.
Yeah.
You know, so he can definitely identify. So I'm gonna reach out to some people through the station, and we gonna take care of our own. Damn it.
Yeah.
We gonna take care of our own, man. Because I'm gonna tell you, it's hard enough out here, you know, fighting which we got to fight on a daily basis, but to have that as an obstacle right now, man, it's not cool at all. Man.
Times are tough, man.
Yeah.
You know, trying to get all this stuff back and everything just to get back on your feet. Because I was really concerned about those people because I heard the mayor talking about we're gonna make sure Red Cross is gonna take care of temporary housing. Well, what do you mean temporary housing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
they have nowhere to live.
Yeah, like
period.
Like that's concerning. So I really do hope for the best in that situation, man. That's terrible.
Yeah. So look, one more time, if you just tuned in and if you caught the middle of the interview or wherever the case may be, my main man KO, who sings with the Faces You Know band, formerly of All For You, and he had a hell of a situation yesterday to where the place where he resides and all of his well-beings, his music, everything has went up in flames. And so this poor brother right here, man, him and his family, well, I shouldn't say poor because he has his life, he has his health, and so and we have ours as well. So we're going to use not only this platform, but you know, we're gonna reach out and we're gonna help this brother because he's been an intricate part of our community.
Yeah, man. And we gotta take care of our own, man. No doubt about that.
Is it? So one more time, if those of you listening, if you want to send him some cash right now, it's $ KO Sings. $KO Sings. We're gonna put that up on the Facebook pages as well, on all of them. All right. So Well, look, we back with you, man, and I see like Miss Lady. I think she's doing her job already. Thank you, sis. We appreciate you. Oh no, you done inbox me something. I'll get to that later, girl. so anyway, I got my main man Malik, the freak.
Yeah, man, in the building.
Yes, indeed. Right here on the GoWIN radio show. I appreciate you, man, for coming through, man, and we can really reminisce and talk about some of the old days, and then we're gonna come up into far as what's going on right now. So, you tell everybody how you actually got started in the radio game.
Well, for me, it started way before radio. Like, it really started at Union Temple Baptist Church. I was raised by that church. All right. It was a whole generation of youth raised by that church.
Shout out to Reverend Willie Wilson.
Reverend Willie Wilson, who was my godfather. And like I said, he raised a whole generation of youth in that church. But it really started there for me because I started running a sound system there.
Okay.
And as a member of that church also, I attended a performing arts school for drama, and my sister was in dance class. So I would say my love really started there inside the church. And then, as I was getting into doing sound work, because I was working the sound system there as a sound technician, I started to get more interested in broadcasting. And, I had a chance to see Prince Dejour years ago, PGC. He did a live broadcast. I know people remember Prince Dejour.
That's right.
Back in the days, used to, do the Slow Jam show on PGC.
Yeah.
So
it ended up on BET.
Right. So, man, I got to see these guys who work behind the scenes and everything, man, and I was a fan ever since then. So, man, I worked hard. You know what I'm saying? I kept at doing sound work. Then, after graduation from Oxon Hill High School, like 2 weeks after graduation, I met a guy at the church by the name of Zeke Zanders. Zeke Zanders was the promotions director for Magic 102.3. He's a really good guy, man. He died a few years ago. Good dude. But if it wasn't for him, kind of seeing the potential in me being in the church and being interested in him giving me that opportunity to come in to talk to the people at KYS, I would have never had that opportunity to walk in that door. So really, I owe a lot to him. And of course, Dion Burkett, who ran promotions at KYS for so many years, for a lot of those golden years, man. And I love her to death to this day. I will always love Dion and Zeke. I think Dion is at HUR right now. I think she's doing some producer work and doing some work over there at HUR. But between Dion Burkett, Zeke Zanders, they got me in. And at that time, Steve Hegwood was the program director. I'm gonna be honest, Steve ain't like me. Steve ain't like a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? But that was just Steve. But I didn't really get like on until KK Holiday kind of went to bat for me. When I was working with the Live Squad with KK Holiday, he went to bat for me. He got me an official position to get paid. And then, Daryl Huckabee became program director around that time. And, Daryl was
That's when I came in.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Daryl was a good dude, man. Yeah. Daryl still is a good dude to this day. And he saw the potential and gave me the opportunity to be on the air.
He's doing 5 links now, ain't he?
Man, Daryl's he's back on the air too. I think he's doing 5 links and he's back on the radio up in Connecticut.
Really?
Yeah, because he used to be on the radio too. You know what I'm saying? So, but he's doing good, man. I watch his live feed. I think he just tuned into the live feed right now.
What's up.
Yeah, him, my man Chris Action Jackson, man. That's another dude that I used to work with KYS.
I want to thank Huckabee for not kicking me out. Because he must have saw something in me because he allowed me to hang in there because he could have easily kicked me out.
You know what? If people really knew, like in Go-Go, they would owe Daryl Huckabee a lot of thanks because he allowed a lot of things to happen at KYS.
Underneath him.
Underneath him.
Yep.
A lot the old school Go-Go show happened underneath him.
That's right.
Us having the opportunity to open the door for bands when me and Two Face was on the air with the Wild Boys, like we had an open door policy. Yeah. if a band, you know, if they felt like they was ready for the radio, we didn't have any barriers in front of them to get on the air. We let the people decide what it was. Now, it was sometimes that we'll get joints and it didn't sound right, and we'd be like, look, man, I need y'all to go back and redo this. Right. Matter of fact, let me let y'all hear how it sounds in the studio first. Y'all hear how this sounds? Now I need y'all to go back and go redo it again. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, but if it weren't for Daryl, man, a lot of opportunities would, you know, there wouldn't be no Wild Boys. I would have never probably ever had an opportunity to host a radio show on KY. So I owe him a lot of gratitude as well, too.
Man, let me tell you something, bro. You, that team that y'all had, Live Squad was first, right?
Yeah.
Steph,
P-Stew, and Pooch.
Man, let me tell you something, man. That team right there, woo!
Yeah, man.
That right there really said. I talked to Steph. Steph was here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that team right there, I thought really set standard barriers for this area.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
Because they was out the box from what was being programmed at the time.
Yeah, they changed the game. They set the standard for how night radio was about to be now. And at that time too, Albie D was just coming to the end of his run. Tigger was doing his thing. But what the Live Squad was doing was so much different because the listeners were so much more involved in the show every day with the roll call and the different type of segments we used to have, like the Who You With, the Fat 7 at 7, guest DJs and all that. It was a very listener friendly show, and even though in the streets, technically KYS was known as like the Hot 97 of DC. Kind of, they still like they were in DC, but they still wasn't embraced heavily. Like PGC was still kind of winning those ratings books for quite some time because they were in the city. They were in a lot of the Maryland clubs.
They had a bigger budget.
Yeah, that too with CBS too.
Yes.
And we rolling
Infinity.
with Kathy Hughes. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? She
right.
putting her money up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that just gave the situation even more pride and made us work harder because we was working for this African American woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we wanted to go out here and produce some results for her. You know what I'm saying?
Unlike a lot of jocks at that time, on-air personalities, however y'all want to call them, at that time y'all was truly in the streets doing what y'all doing. And I think that's what made y'all popular because even though like Steph wasn't originally from the area, you know what I'm saying, but you saw Steph out like she was like a homegirl, in
she
the
went to
ghettos.
Howard,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Right. So
She was
plugged
on
in.
Flavor 1580. She's
That's
a
right.
part of the DC radio staple. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anybody that was on Flavor 1580, they deserve to be mentioned when it comes to the history and the foundation
Shout
of
out
this
to
area.
my main man. I was just looking at him. He down in Atlanta right now. Jesus Christ, brain fart right now.
CeeLo?
CeeLo, thank you.
Yeah, man. Funk Regulators CeeLo,
Yes,
man.
Funk Regulator.
DC's number one, man.
My goodness, who stayed on both stations, PGC and KYS, back and forth. I don't know who switched up more, him or Super Slice.
Man, CeeLo, I mean, CeeLo, my man, we never had no issues, man. CeeLo just, when you're a staple in the city, then that's what happens.
CeeLo was about his work, though.
Yeah, man. And he backed up.
And he didn't take no stuff from nobody.
Yeah, and he backed up a lot of the things that he, with the way how he played. If he was going to call him DC's number one, he going to put on a show and let it be known that he was DC's number one DJ. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he's a good dude, man.
Yeah. So coming from Live Squad, this is what I wanted to ask you. I'm gonna come out the box with this one right here.
Okay.
At that time, KYS was heavy. Russ Parr was on the air with Miss Olivia Fox.
Olivia. Hey, Olivia.
What happened with that situation? And what are your thoughts on where they could have been if they would have stayed together.
Well,
but
tell us
what happened with that situation.
Well, I don't know necessarily in detail. There was a bunch of talk, but I would never put that out there as facts because those were just rumors amongst other personalities on what exactly happened based on our experiences. But I will say this: there was a definite change in the quality. Well, I don't want to say the entertainment value of the show changed when Olivia left. There's certain rumors to what happened, what exactly it was. Like I said, I can't really speak on that in detail, but I think the whole station felt that when she was gone because it affected the station. Because Olivia had her followers and supporters who loved her. There were people inside the station who loved her. But to be quite honest with you, man, being inside of there, like the morning show was kind of. There were certain members of the morning show that you would see on the regular.
Oh, yeah, no, they was kind of isolated.
But they were really isolated from everybody else. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was kind of like sometimes where, you had Jeannie, Lorenzo, or Osei, Live Squad, or the Wild Boys, who was ever in that position. It felt like we were kind of like the team, and, there's Russ in the morning. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's the way how they had it sometimes.
Right.
But, I can't really say in detail what exactly happened with Olivia and Russ and that whole situation. I just know that the effect, entertainment-wise, it was felt. I don't know if they've been able to regain that.
What was your view if they would have stayed together? Where do you think where they would be in the radio? At this time right now, do you think that they would probably still be kicking butt?
Absolutely. A lot of these shows, think about a lot of these shows right now that's on the air, that's getting a lot of this love, like the Breakfast Club, especially like the Breakfast Club. They're using a format that was already being used here for years. They're not doing anything different. Nope. Even if you want to go and go to New York, like Star and Buckwild, when they was on Hot 97 years ago, they were doing that in-your-face reality radio type thing. Those no-nonsense type interviews that everybody seems to crave nowadays. Right. Like I said, their format is nothing new. If Olivia never left the show, in my opinion, I don't know. Their chemistry was ridiculous.
Was it?
You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to me. Like, now you got social media now. Social media wasn't all that prevalent then. No. But I can only imagine where that show would be right now had they kept that show in place the way it was. Well, but not saying anything is wrong with the show now. It's just, it is what it is.
For those of you that's just know what you see right now or hear right now, it was night and day, I'm telling you. But same thing with the Live Squad and what y'all was doing. Mm-hmm. What happened? Okay, so we could talk about this.
Are we talking about the Live Squad and the Wild Boys or what? Because it's two different.
I know. There's two different situations because the Wild Boys is what came back.
Here's what I would say about that, because radio is radio. Radio is a shiesty business, man. Yeah. Radio is a real shiesty business.
Music
sometimes.
Business in general.
But really, radio can be really cutthroat. It could be a thing where, a philosophy may change and they might not just feel you no more.
But didn't they get rid of y'all when y'all was number one?
With the Wild Boys? Yeah. Well, yes, that did happen.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, the thing with that,
a lot of people, that doesn't happen. That's like winning the MVP. Like you won the championship and they firing the coach.
Well, full disclaimer, I don't believe that they were expecting the Wild Boys to be successful. We weren't.
I can see that.
We wasn't in their mainstream plans.
Right.
To take over that show. We were already in place. It was an easy turnover for them because they wanted to go in a new direction from the Live Squad. And they put us in position. Like I said, we were already in place. Me and Face was already doing like a weekend show on Saturdays. So it was an easy turnover for them business-wise to do that. But in the totality of the whole situation, we weren't in their plans going forward. They already had a plan in place. They wanted to see if we can. It was kind of like a stopgap type of thing.
Right.
But what they didn't expect to happen was that not only would we come in and fill in the space well, but kind of change kind of the culture of how night radio was done again. Because we were a lot more edgier than the last squad was.
Yeah.
Our content was a lot more in your face.
Yeah.
That's why I said like those formatted shows like the Breakfast Club and stuff like that. Like I hear it like, yeah, I've seen that before.
Right. That was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it was Wild Boys.
Yeah.
Wild Boys
that
came
was like
on. It was
15
January
years ago.
2002. Yeah. That's when we first came on. We had two stints. 2002. Then they made the move. They brought back KK Holiday, and then we got back on the radio again. I think like 2005, something like that.
And KK didn't work out right there, now did it?
Yeah, man, it was tough, man. Like, not saying that we made it tough.
Yeah, you did.
To come into that time slot.
Y'all did. I mean,
we put in a lot of work in the streets, man. That was going to be a lot for somebody just to come in and just erase that. You know what I'm saying? We put in a lot of work.
But the company heads had to know that. I mean, anyway, look, we're not going to get personal about it.
Yeah,
know, we know what we know. But, yeah, I really wanted to bring that up because I wanted people to understand the impact that you had on the city at that time. Well, you and your team.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
it was a team.
Nobody does nothing alone.
Nah, it was a team.
But definitely that period, like you said, and y'all broke a lot of different stuff on the radio, especially with the go-go scene.
Well, let me just say that.
Because it was a period of time, like go-go get runs on radio.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the only reason it hasn't had a run on the radio now is because nothing been put out.
Right.
You know, but that's a whole nother story we're going to talk about. We can do that in the second hour.
Yeah, well, okay. Because I was about to go into the whole what our philosophy was as it pertains to go-go, and that's what kind of shaped our whole show, and you know, kind of helped us kind of focus on what our demographics was going to be. Okay. I mean, I can go into that right now.
Well, we can go on the break because that's going to take a couple of minutes. So,
no problem.
Problem. But I really wanted people to see that you know. Because the way radio is now, I think they don't want the power in the on-air personalities' hands no more at all.
Well, I don't think it's that. I don't think you have. I'm not saying the personalities don't have the ability to do it. You got to have personalities that's willing to go out and do the extra work, not the work that they tell you to do. Sometimes you got to go out and do stuff that nobody telling you to do. I mean, I learned that lesson from Tigger. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you used to hear the stories of how Tigger used to just show up at spots, whether he was being promoted to be there or not. Sometimes it'd just be a neighborhood bar. Right. And he used to just show up and just go in there and just say what's up to people. And people gravitated to him because they it's like being accessible. Oh, he a people's person. He'll show up anyway. He cool. Right. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of like our mentality as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, don't put us on no pedestal, man. Because I'm going to always climb down and be down with the people. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever want to be viewed as being, you know. But I mean, I took it was the platform we was on, but at the same time, I didn't want to use that platform as a way to speak above people. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be a voice for the people. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Now, sometimes, you know, there was times where we didn't agree, that I didn't agree with the people, but at the same time, that's an honest conversation. So that's where we at with it.
Yeah, I mean, that we're talking about a real golden period. That was what, 2000?
2002.
Yeah.
2001. Yeah. I mean, it was a lot of clubs open around that time. D-Revolution, Burn Manor was going. You had the Metro Club.
Had Love.
Love was going. I mean, particular. I mean, H2O was with H2O was. They were building H2O. H2O came around 2004, but you still had Platinum, Insomnia, VIP Club, Club U.
The Ritz
was still doing their thing. They had RE doing their thing down there. Yeah. So Republic Gardens. That I mean,
all about that. Yeah,
dude. Let me tell you, you talking about a club. You talking about a club that really kind of shaped how I went about hosting clubs. And I got Lorenzo Ice-T Thomas on here who just checked in too. What's up, Lorenzo? My man Ice-T down in Miami checking in. Lorenzo and DJ Quicksilver, the white boy, because that's the only Quicksilver I really know. I know the other one, but I know
That's right.
the white chocolate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's my brother. You know what I'm saying? If something happened to that man, I would be, you know what I'm saying? It would be a problem. But when Lorenzo and Ice and Quick used to do that live broadcast at Republic Gardens, man, that made me want to be a host. Like it was kind of like a teaching session on how to host parties and how to have chemistry with your DJ. And Republic Gardens is such a memorable spot because of those Friday nights down there, man. And I will always be, you know what I'm saying, thankful for Lorenzo and Quick, man. They don't understand how much they did for me as a host on those nights, man. I used to be their board ops. And I used to be in the studio recording every Friday night, you know what I'm saying, until I started hosting down there afterwards. But, man, awesome stuff, man.
So when you tell people that you used to record every Friday night, explain that to the regular layman.
Okay. Well, when I used to run the board, like we had this air check machine. It was a regular cassette deck in the studio where you can record every time you turn your mic on, the recording starts.
Right.
That's how most radio people are able to practice and to hear themselves. They call them air checks in radio. But on Friday nights, I used to record the whole mix, what was going on the radio, because they can't hear what's on the radio when they're in the club. So when they heard the tape, you hear all the drops and everything, how you sounded on the radio. So that's what I used to do back then. And it was cool because me and Quick used to listen to those after the broadcast and stuff. So I think it definitely used to help him with his mixes every week to try to do different things with how he programmed the club. It's a science, man.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. And I think the board ops, as they call it, because I remember meeting KB. Remember KB?
Yeah, Kim. Yeah.
She the one that taught me.
I just seen her not too long ago.
Really?
Man. Old KB, man. KB,
Where's she at?
Man, KB's still in the area, man.
Really?
She
Nice.
was doing some television in Baltimore for a little bit.
That's my baby
doing
right there.
traffic and stuff. She's still
I
around,
love her to
man.
death. She the one that really worked with me.
Yeah.
And really started teaching me everything for us how to work around it on the board. And,
Yeah, she
and
real
do
good
different
peoples,
things. That was my sweetheart right there. I remember when not too long before I left, Dad gave her the night show after us.
Chocolate City Soul.
Yeah, that's it. You got a good memory, boy.
Come on, man. I was a producer. I was supposed to know about these shows, man.
So, but and that's what I was about to get into. So, a lot of people don't understand the importance of the person that's running the board, and that gets kind of lost because you're on radio, and so people just they only envision what they want to envision. They don't understand that there's actual production work that goes behind what people hear.
Absolutely.
And I want to kind of get that real quick, if you can, in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Give me a synopsis of the work that it actually takes for people to, from the point where they're in the car or wherever they may be at, listening to it, from the on-air personality's voice, from that point right there to what they're listening to. What's the work that it takes to get into that?
Well, production, I can't say all personalities know how to do production, but production is 90% of the job. Production and show prep. I'm going to put show prep in there because that's part of production as well. That's pre-show production. You do all that work before you go on the air. You know what I'm saying? So when you get on the air, you're not looking for stuff to talk about. Now, some people are just good. They can just be able to flow off the fly. If you do it for long enough, then you don't, But even the most seasoned veterans, they still do research before they go on the air, and they still do production. But that's 90 to 95% of the work. Getting on the air is just the finality of what you've done in your pre-production and your show prep. So, man, production is very important, man. Very important. I used to have more fun doing production than anything else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people, when they hear the show or the various different shows that come out on terrestrial radio, they just hear the finished product, and it's the in between part that you're speaking of that the better that is, the better the finished product is.
Yeah, absolutely. And all the like my man Chris Jackson saying, all the great personalities, they know how to do production. Like Lorenzo used to do production in the studio during his show. Like the way how he used to use his show, he used to use a lot of different sound bites and stuff like that. Very creative. You got to be creative to put your show, you know, to kind of have your show stand out from everything else, man. And that's I don't know how much creativity is being used nowadays, but I just know back then the people who I used to work with, everybody had their own personality. They all brought something different to the table. You know, they all were creative, you know, and I learned a lot from a lot of those people. So, I mean, that all goes into, like I said, you know, into production and all of that, man.
Well, you know what? When we come back, something we glossed over is your history in go-go.
Okay.
So we're going to touch on that.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and we're going to really get into far as what we think about go-go today.
Absolutely.
All right. You tuned into the GoWIN radio show right here on GoGo Radio Live. Win DC Radio, all wrapped up in GoWin.media. Coming to you live from the shops at Iverson. Keep it locked right here. We got my main man, Malik the Freak.
Yeah.
And we running down the history in go-go and radio.
Yep.
Right here.
You are live with the GoWIN radio show on GoGo Radio Live and Win DC Radio, powered by GoWin.media.
Undergoing a transformation, creating a mixed-use center where the community can come together to eat, shop, relax, and feel connected. The Shops at Iverson is a 600 KSF mixed-use property consisting of retail and office space now available. Located inside the Beltway on Branch Avenue, Maryland, just minutes from downtown D.C. It's an exciting time at the Shops at Iverson. Several beautiful renovation projects are ongoing, transforming the Shops at Iverson into the new safe community hub. DMV, get ready to enjoy the new food court, opening late spring, early summer, featuring new restaurants like Chipotle, Quickway Hibachi, Tropical Smoothie, Wingstop, and free Wi-Fi. The Shops at Iverson, the original home of the world-famous Snickerdoodle cookies, is completing several cosmetic improvements to the mall interior, facade, and parking garage. The Shops at Iverson is the new home of GoWin Media, comprised of the DMV's premier internet radio stations, GoGo Radio Live and Win DC Radio. For updates and more details, check out shopiverson.com. That's shopiverson.com. Looking for a new look? Check out Hair Academy 2 in the Shops at Iverson, Hillcrest Heights, Maryland. You'll get quality services done by developing stylists and barbers. Senior discounts offered weekly and free barbershop services available when you present a flyer. Chemical treatments are also available. Call 301-899-9100 for hours of operation. Hair Academy 2 in the Shops at Iverson, 3705 Branch Avenue, Suite 1010, lower level, Hillcrest Heights. A new look is waiting for you at Hair Academy 2.
Have you ever tried to recreate that live go-go sound in the studio? It's kind of hard to get that go-go swing and raw crank drive without a real drummer, right? Well, we have the solution for you at GoGoLoops.com. If you're a music producer and you're looking to produce authentic sounding go-go tracks, GoGo Loops is what you need. We offer a variety of drum kits and beat loop packs that can give you a solid foundation for your funky go-go style beats. High quality live and studio recorded pocket and socket beat loop, bounce beat loops, and guitar and bass samples will get your track sounding like the real deal. Our drum kits include a variety of real drum kicks, snares, congas, cowbells, jam blocks, timbales, rototons, crashes, and even more. We also have individual drum beat loops and Congo beat loops that can be used as play-along tracks for learning and practice purposes. These are the most exclusive drum samples on the planet. Since go-go is an art form born and bred in the DMV, there aren't any other places you can find this unique sound. We have affordable pricing and different types of products that can fit in anyone's budget. Sign up to the GoGo Loop at GoGoLoops.com and get free samples and discount codes. If you want your music to stand out in the crowd, you need samples from GoGoLoops.com. Our music, our culture, our way. Visit GoGoLoops.com today and always keep it cranking.
This is
Crank Therapy.
GoGo Radio Live.
Oh yeah, your boy DJ Chuck Classic, GoGo Radio Live. Letting you know you can catch me in the mix every Saturday, 2 to 4 p.m. It's Crank Therapy. Oh yeah. And I hit you like this. Crank Therapy. 2 to 4 p.m. Crank Therapy, Saturdays.
What's good, y'all? This your boy AJ Throwback, and I want y'all to please check out a show a few interests are uncovered. Every perspective is considered. All walks of life are represented, and indie artists from the DMV and beyond get their shine. It's the Balancing Act Radio Show, aka Bars, hosted by yours truly, Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Only on WinDCRadio.com and the WinDC Radio app. And of course, it's all powered by GoWIN.media. What's good, everybody? This your boy AJ Throwback, and when I'm plugging away at work and need a shot of energy, I'm tuned into the hot topics, dope music, and wild styles of my brothers and the kings of Monday night, Coach Taylor and Ransom Reddick. It's Breakout Kings Radio, Mondays from 8 to 10 p.m. Only on WinDCRadio.com and the WinDC Radio app, powered by GoWin.media.
Get one for the ladies. We ain't had one for the ladies in a while now. All my fellas gotta take a chill pill for a minute and just watch these ladies work. I guarantee this stuff gon' make them work, yo. Well, alright. Well, alright.
main man Glenn and Big Bang gonna do their thing. Hey Sean, I have to apologize to you, man. They just like cut my time a little bit shorter than what I thought. You understand, man? What's my fault? They was working with them people back there, you know?
You're tuned into the GoWIN Radio Show right here on GoGo Radio Live.
God almighty.
Win DC Radio. All wrapped up in GoWIN.media. And that right there, it's called the Jigger. Actually, it was a Jigaboo.
Yeah, man.
But there's a story that goes behind the name change.
Yeah.
And we're going to let you get into that a little bit. But right there, we were just talking about a little bit off air. This band you felt like was highly disrespected.
Yeah.
I feel like in that circuit, y'all was cranking just like anybody else. It was a good era for Go-Go during this time when y'all was playing. There was a lot of good bands out playing. Like some of the bands I just played, the Southeast Sounds was doing their thing. Who else did I play? Huckabucks when they was doing their thing. Y'all.
Yeah, a young Raw's image was coming out.
Yes,
that
that's
time.
right. Raw image and UCB.
Right, a young UCB.
High performance. A lot of people don't know the talent that came out of high performance too. Man, it was a lot of good bands was out doing it. Look, so-called OP Tribe.
Yeah,
which some of y'all really kind of looked up to. A lot of people don't know OP Tribe was a thorough band back then.
Well, I really wanted to start playing keyboards after I watched Mac, Delvon, and Arvell with OP Tribe, man, because I just felt like their style. This is before I actually seen Mike and EB. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was paying attention to keyboard players. Maestro was playing by himself with Northeast Groovers. But it was something about OP Tribe's music section that just seemed just so, like, man, these guys are off the chain, off the hook. I mean, I'm just funky with it. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of the bands I would put in my top 5 that should have been way bigger than what they was if they would just made the right step here or there. And that's always gonna be debatable. You can say that about a lot of different bands, but the talent that was in that band and the way they was cranking at that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, and they was playing everywhere, man. Like, Ignatius had them everywhere. I think the one thing, looking at it from a musician standpoint when it comes to OP Tribe back then, I think the one thing that kind of held them back, and this might sound petty, but the fact that they didn't really curse. They didn't have really an edge to them. And at that time, you had a lot of...
But they had an edge in their music.
Yeah, I mean, their beats, Ican and Pinkney, them guys, their beats was just ridiculous, man. Yeah. Like, it was hard to really compete with that. Them two, their chemistry was just ridiculous.
Yes.
But I just think it was that edge around that time. You got to think the rap groups that was out. You had Onyx that was really, really popular around that time, DMX, stuff like that. So, when Backyard, it was like OP Tribe was like Backyard without the street edge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then you had Backyard that's giving you the whole picture.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The whole completed picture. So that was the only thing that, I mean, as a musician, like, we used to talk amongst other band members.
About Northwest Youngins, too.
Yeah, Northwest, oh my God, Wheels, and oh my goodness, man. I used to love watching them dudes play, man. They used to crank, man. Northwest had a good slate of bands, you know what I'm saying? But, like, with my band, with Jigaboo, when we played, man, of course, we was coming up from the south side.
Was that your first band?
My first band I ever played. Well, the first band I was like hanging around, being around with was Raw Assumption. Okay. Back in the days, my man Damo, rest in peace, my man Damo.
Oh yeah, that was a good young. For those who don't know, his last gig he was kicking for Junkyard.
Yeah, man, Damo.
He died, but
yeah, man, Damo was my brother. You know what I mean?
Dude, so good dude.
My man Bam from Steel Band was on the front line. My man Larry.
Talked to Bam this morning.
Yeah, man, that's my brother, man. My man Fella and Stomp young Stomp Dog used to come around because his boy Pooh was playing drums and stuff. So that was the first band I really was around, was Raw Assumption, around 23rd Parkway. And then from there, we got Jigaboo together when we was all in Oxon Hill. And man, some great memories, man. So we had some great times with that band.
Let's get into Jigaboo a little bit, man, because I had heard about y'all, when I was doing my, I was thinking, I figured that time, that was like what year was that?
Jigaboo came out, it was like 96.
Okay.
December, like 96 was when we started.
Okay.
Our first show was like December 13th.
Because I remember the 97, 98, around that time when Groovers was cranking.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all play the Met?
Yes, we did. We played with
That's what I remember. For whatever reason, I'm trying to remember who I saw y'all with.
We played with Northeast up there. Like this, like before Northeast had. I guess this was the last, because we played with them right before Rapper left.
Right.
For 911.
That's 99.
Right, and then we played with them again. They had General Lee.
Right.
General Lee was lead talking for Northeast, and we was opening up for Northeast at the Met.
I remember that first show was packed out, and then the following week it was like 10 people up in that joint.
Yeah. I mean, we was playing at that joint, then we was going to the Ebony Inn afterwards. Like we was playing at the Ebony Inn after that joint. Yeah, man.
I still talk about what happened to the bands up in there. I was
what, Ebony Inn?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a whole lot of bands that played in there that I remember. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm gonna take you back. Chuck used to play up in there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you way back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we got to play with Northeast a couple of times, man. It was cool. We went up there, did some damage.
It's well chronicled that Northeast is your favorite go-go band.
I don't know. I didn't say that.
I
mean, they one of my favorites, but I wouldn't say they my favorite band.
Okay. Then I'm incorrect.
I don't really like.
Well, put it like this: in our conversations, and I've listened to you, like you give the Northeast probably you talk about the most with the most praise.
Well,
from the past.
Well, the reason why. I guess it may come because Northeast was an attraction when you were to go see them, like at the Icebox. Even before then, when they had Juicy and Sunshine and stuff like that, they was an attraction. I always put bands in certain lanes. Like I already knew if I was going to see Northeast, I was going to get this. If I was going to see Jump or Backyard, the Annex or the Firehouse or whatever, I was going to get this. So it was kind of hard. Like I was a fan of all of them. I banged all their tapes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think my relationship to the South Side, more so than anything, might give JY kind of the edge just because that's how I was raised. I was raised up kind of listening to JY and RE.
Right.
But, you know what I'm saying, also, a lot of people don't know this too. I spent significant amount of time with Backyard. Like, significant amount of time. And I mean, like, significant enough time to say that these dudes are family. Like, I know these dudes off the stage. I know some of these guys' kids. You know what I'm saying? We done rode together, like, you know what I'm saying, and sat at dinner tables together and all this stuff. But being around them, the thing that made me kind of gravitate to them was their sense of family. And not just within the band. I'm talking about the people who regularly come to see them, who've been coming to see them for years. That's a family. When I'm talking about people like my man Big Baby and Tony Reds and Miss KB, and all, I mean, you're talking about people who've been going to see this band since they really got started.
Right.
So, like I said, every band I had love for every band. I would never say, oh, this is my favorite all-time band, or be like, oh, I'm going to just see this band and that's it. Now, when we was a little younger, there was a little bit of a South Side, Uptown type of competitive thing going on. You had your JYs, your Pure Elegance, your Jiggabools, and you had your bands on the South Side, and then you had your Uptown bands, your OV Tribes, your Northwest Youngins, the Backyard, and all Uncalled For, and all of that. So that was then. But it was all competitive. You know what I'm saying? Because we knew on the South Side we gonna drive them beats. You know what I'm saying? We gonna drive them beats. And give you those Congo beats all day long. But
I think that's what made Backyard so appealing when they did come over to the South Side and play.
Mm-hmm.
It was already a respect for Gang and them when they came over there. When they first started playing on that, on that side for whatever reasons, like they already had that respect from the streets on the South Side. I never saw Backyard with it. I'm talking about because I used to run with them, back then. Them and Groovers, I used to see both on a regular during that time. And Backyard, they always had appeal on the South Side.
Well, yeah, they did, but there was portions of the South Side that was really dug in with Junkyard.
Of course,
there was certain like man, there was certain.
But they always had that respect amongst each other.
The bands did,
Yeah,
but there were certain neighborhoods in the South Side that wasn't. They wasn't going for they wasn't going for the whole uptown thing. Now they respect them, but there was sometimes like.
Well, I'm talking about musically.
I mean musically, they you know, musically, of course they wanted to hear some crank. You know, sometimes, but there was sometimes like, you know, back in the days, G used to be real vocal back in the days.
Yeah.
And sometimes like this is way before G used to talk real bad about Maryland dudes and all of that. And, you know, sometimes dudes used to take offense to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they really did. Yeah. But like I said, Backyard worked hard, man. Even through all that, when Junkyard broke up, Northeast broke up, Backyard never broke up.
Yep.
And I think people in the city, even on the South Side,
they respect that.
I think they totally respected that, and that's why they're in the position they're in now. You know, they worked hard. They kept representing for the city when everybody else couldn't keep it together.
What are your views on Go with the free agency in Go? And let me separate the two. You got free agency and you got hired musicians.
Well, let me just say this. Those bands who regularly use free agents, hired musicians, those bands usually don't last long. You know what I'm saying? They kind of like gimmick bands. They come around, they'll get some money, they'll gig for maybe a year or two, and then next thing you know, because the thing about hired musicians and that I've seen is that, you know, they always looking for their next gig. You know, they ain't never locked in to a project unless they getting some bread. And then Go, you know, given how the industry is and how the success rate is, you're not going to be successful like that when you have different musicians every other show. Like that just doesn't build any type of cohesiveness. The crowd can't really get used to your sound because it's always changing. You got a different drummer every other week or whatever. That affects, you know, your band.
And I've had this conversation with some folks on social media about that are musicians that play within our culture and also play outside of it professionally. So I had this conversation, and the way it went is that on the musician side of things, if you are a professional musician, then you should be able to play what the band wants you to play, and there should be no drop off. And so my answer to that is, well, first and foremost, how many true professionals are there in this industry of go-go? Well, true professionals.
I think you got some pretty professional musicians that have played in other professional groups that just happen to play in go-go. So you have a lot of professional musicians that's playing. You have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I mean, who would you? I don't want to go into pinpoint, trying to.
No,
we
don't have to throw no names. But I mean, when you say a lot, when we categorize, or just think about all the musicians that play, because in every band you got a minimum of around 10 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe 4, maybe frontline.
Mm-hmm.
Three minimum,
mm-hmm.
right? The rest of those are musicians, right? So we saying 3/4 pretty much are the musicians in a band. So we think about how many bands there are out there. There's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so you take 3/4 of that, and let's do the numbers. How many would you actually think a percentage of their actual true professionals or carry what they do as professionals that are actually in this industry?
Maybe
Give me
30,
percentage.
maybe 30%.
30%?
Maybe 30. I might be lowballing maybe by 10. You know what I'm saying?
Lowballing?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
I ain't gonna give it 50-50, but
nah.
I mean we have a good amount of professional musicians that play. They just sometimes, man, they get buried behind the front line that doesn't really have the talent.
No, we're not talking about that,
You know
because
what
the
I'm
front
saying?
line's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Whole different story. And the reason why I say this, and I bring that question to you, is because when people complain about how the business is in go-go, I like, and me and Miss Lady, we talk about this all the time. We say, well, first and foremost, what's the first thing you should do? You should always look in the mirror. So, since 3/4 of go-go are musicians, right? 3/4 of go-go bands, are musicians. They are in the majority, right? Obviously, we do the proper math. So by them being in the majority, I say, look, if you're a band, you should not have to put up with musicians coming in and out of your band. All right? You lock them in and say, look, if you're either locked in or you're not. Because we have to develop this sound. In go-go, having your own sound is extremely important. And I think with the inception of Grown and Sexy, as they call it, go-go, that's kind of taken that part out, because you didn't really see a lot of musicians going in and out until the Grown and Sexy really started popping. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right about that.
So once that started happening, then you got musicians, just everybody want to know how to play that song that's on the radio. Where back before the Grown and Sexy, it was more of, if we heard a song on the radio, we want to make it ours.
Right.
It was a pride to that.
Right. Now everybody want to hit the song just like it is
Yes.
on the radio.
Who sounds the closest to the record?
Or the funniest thing I always hear from like the fans is, oh, so and so sung that joint better than so and so.
Right.
Like you can never sing the song better than the original because they get paid.
That's right.
Off of the original.
And it's their damn song.
It's their damn song. Like you can't, you're never going to bang out somebody's song better than they did. It's their song.
Well, it's few exceptions.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're not getting no credit for it,
right,
you ain't getting no points for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not yours.
Right.
But
the last hour we're gonna get into all that part.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I think bands now have become very complacent. We've talked about this before. I watched a video live feed of DJ Rico yesterday, and he was pleading with bands to send in originals.
Oh, and he used to do that all the time when he was on this station.
Mean, brother, like, we've been doing this for years, man. Always pleading. Like that, and that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of, after this weekend, stepping away from the whole Malik the Freak thing, because I ain't gonna lie to you, Nico. These bands have given me a headache. Like, seriously. Like, I don't know how many years.
The headache comes from frustration?
Yes. Like, I don't know how many years and how many times you have to come on platforms like this. I've taken bands up to music meetings at KYS. I've generated a DJ mailing list for bands. All the bands had to do was go put a little bit of energy and invest in yourself.
Right.
Ain't nobody saying that you can't play covers, but at the same time, how do you separate yourself as a band if that's all you're doing is playing the cover that the other band is playing?
And putting a pocket in between.
Right, and putting a pocket, and you're not even taking ownership of the cover. Like, you trying to make it sound like the radio. Like, okay, that's cool, but at the same time, remember this. People right now, as it pertains to radio, they're not very happy because they hear the same songs all the time.
That's right. That's why the explosion of satellite and online radio.
Yeah, because, satellite is giving you an option to not hear that all day long.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I know people were very skeptical of satellite radio because nobody could imagine people paying monthly rates to listen to radio.
Right.
But, they're projected to go to 50 million subscribers in the next 2 to 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, subscribers, that's paying their bread. They already at 30 million right now. So I wouldn't say that's not a success. They still working. They're working deals with a lot of these car manufacturers and stuff like that to put radios in cars already.
And I be in a lot of Ubers, and they be listening to satellite all the time. All the time.
It's a good look. Spotify is a good look. Tidal is a good look. Apple is a good look. If you want to hear the music that you want to hear. Now, radio is still prevalent. People still want to listen to radio. That's why they still complain, because they still listen. So they just, because that's their local source where they get their local information from.
But why hasn't Go-Go said the hell with radio and we're going to do our own thing? Because the frustration a lot of times comes in from bands saying, well, we give them our music, but they don't play it. Now, while you and I know there's a lot of different variables why it doesn't get played, they don't understand or really care. You know what I'm saying? Because they figured just because they did something, you should be able to play it. You know, excuse me.
That's all good.
And that's no different from, to me, from giving a DJ a record. I want you to play, a record. Gosh, I'm really dating myself.
No,
but, you know, a track, say, I want you to play it. And the DJ ain't heard it. And if he does play, well, what is this garbage?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to get me fired.
Right.
You know, playing this. But what do you think? I mean, you tell us, what do you think the variable is right here?
Well, I don't think Go-Go is in a position to say to hell with radio. I think what Go-Go has to do is force their hand, because the radio stations need Go-Go. Go-Go has to understand. Like,
but you just described that radio is not as strong as it was.
Well, in the totality of urban format radio right now, the interest in radio is down and has been for a few years, because radio sounds redundant as it goes for their regular music that they play. Like me, there was always a philosophy when I was at KYS, and that's why I love working under guys like Steve Hegwood and Daryl Huckabee. First of all, you wouldn't be hearing Migos in the middle of the day. You know what I'm saying? There's a philosophy, like from 10 a.m. to maybe 3 p.m., you're thinking about your demographic who may be listening to the radio at that time. There's no kids listening to the radio at that time. They are supposed to be in school. You know what I'm saying? So why am I hearing all this kiddie cartoon nonsense at this time of the day? Like, the programming has to suit the demographic for the actual time slots. That's what's been missing from radio. So as it goes for Go-Go, right? Go-Go in DC is very important. The problem is that a lot of bands, and I have no problem, and I don't want to say me mentioning this dude's name is me calling him out or anything like that, because he's doing what he has to do, and he's putting himself in position to make these type of moves. But the one thing I used to tell bands was, do not limit yourself to just giving all your material to one DJ. If Big John is the only DJ playing Go-Go there, it's not because he's the only DJ that wants to play Go-Go. That just happens to be the mix show that he's on at that time. But there are other DJs that are at the radio station who may not frequent the Go-Go on the regular, but they are DJs. You know what I'm saying? They travel, they play in a lot of these spots, you know what I'm saying, that can help expand your audience and help push your sound. I'm sure that Uncalled For would be very happy for the way that all the DJs embraced Sexy Lady and pushed that song out in the mainstream clubs, not just in the go-go scene, but pushed it out in the mainstream clubs as well, because that's where their reach goes. So that's the only thing I used to tell bands, man, just know these other guys too. Yeah, they may be a little bit green to the everyday workings of what goes on in radio, but you know, their reach is what you're looking for. You're looking to put your music in the hands of somebody that's going to take it somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Don't just limit it to just one group of DJs. Get it to everybody that you can. And like I said, as it goes for their relationship to radio, to go out to your question, radio in DC will always need go-go. Don't allow for a personality to tell you that the kids right now are turned off by go-go. If one of these young bands, the same thing with Backyard, when they put out Hello, the kids was on Hello too. They were singing that joint, and that joint was getting play, and it's still getting a lot of love out here to this day. If the bands bet on themselves a little bit more, put some joints out, you never know what might happen, but you know, you gotta be willing to invest in yourself. And a lot of bands haven't been doing that. They're investing in gigging, They investing in those gigs. They want to keep those every week gigs going on. But the actual product of your band, you're not investing in that. And that's the problem.
Why do you think that's so, though?
Because guys
because it's been a redundant situation for
Absolutely.
years.
Absolutely.
So it's almost the definition of insanity, you know. And we and you see it all the time. People go on social media and vent and complain and bitch and moan all the time. Mm-hmm. But it's the same mistakes happening over and over and over again. And these suggestions that you put out, simple suggestions, you know, to step up their game, to make themselves more prevalent in the music industry, not just here, but simple things like that. For whatever reason, they are not digesting this. Why?
I think a lot of guys, especially some of the leaders in these bands, these lead talkers who actually are pushing these bands, they get caught up in a bubble. And I always talk about the bubble mentality of the go-go industry, where they feel like everybody in the world knows what happened at Fast Eddie's the other night. No. You got to understand, this area is much greater than the people who go to the go-go's on a regular basis. You still have go-go music lovers that don't go to the go-go's on the regular, but they love go-go music. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They will always listen to go-go music, but they're not going to go, you know, to these spots every week to check for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say that it's very important for bands to continue to invest in themselves and in their brand. You know, there's a plethora, there's a lot of people on the outside of the go-go bubble, you know, who still love the music. And I just need bands to kind of try to reach out to them. I mean, you see G, you know, with his position now, man. Like, G can go wherever and he's going to be seen. And that's not just in a go-go bubble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he expanded his brand.
Right. But what did he really do to expand his brand? I'm talking about even before The Wire and all of that. He just put himself out there. Yeah. He started going to schools, started showing up at some of these community meetings, you know, started rubbing shoulders with some of these politicians and stuff like that, just to get himself out. And getting himself out there puts his band out there as well. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that everybody, that all the lead talkers had the intangibles or the know-it-all to do what G did, but you can do something in where you live at, in your neighborhood, neighborhood schools where you at, man. Contact the school board, the PG school board, you know? Because, I mean, that too, like, we got to better our relationships with a lot of these counties and a lot of these councils and stuff like that. We can't always, once they decide to do something, then all of a sudden make them the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we haven't built any type of rapport with these people. They don't know who you are, so how are they going to feel where you coming from if they don't know you? They don't feel you. So they're not going to hear your cries. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to hear about, they're not trying to hear about nobody losing no jobs. And man, we don't know nothing about that. Y'all never really reached out to us on anything.
And what's crazy about it is a lot of these people that you're speaking of, they don't feel the need to have to reach out. You know, they feel, and to be honest with you, that's understandable to some extent. Mm-hmm. You know, and when we're dealing with gentrification that's happening in the city right now, a lot of those cries, and this takes us out of the music realm, but I think it all kind of, you know, intertwines in a way.
Right.
What's crazy about it is we feel the need, well, we as the masses in the D.C. area feel like it's a need that, why didn't you come to us and tell us y'all was coming in here? Mm-hmm. When that plan's been put in place for years.
Right.
You know, for years. Look, Europeans don't make moves uncalculated. Mm-hmm. You know, they just don't. You know, so when we see it, we always reacting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Instead of being proactive.
Right.
But that comes from embedded mentality.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I mean, I think.
Go ahead.
I think guys need to get off of the whole trying to be the king of the block. You know, like the going back and forth. Like I see bands that's still going back and forth, like beefing about nothing really at the end of the day, because nobody is sitting down signing. Like I said this yesterday, nobody is signing multi-year, multi-million-dollar contracts. So the idea that you have a beef and you're in a band and go right now,
it's laughable.
It's so laughable to anybody that's in the industry that has any type of stroke of power. They're looking at it like, who the hell are these bands anyway? So-and-so is beefing with who? Well, first of all, who the hell is so-and-so? And why is he so important?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of guys got to think about that too. At the end of the day, if you step outside of this go-go bubble, to all these guys who love to put their face and their name on all these flyers, when you step outside that bubble and you go up to somebody and you say that you are I'm so-and-so from so-and-so band, and they look at you like, who the hell are you? That should be a wake-up call that you ain't where you think you are. And there's a lot of work to be done. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of guys out here who are really living within their own BS hype and ego. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, the bottom line, a lot of you guys who out here living within your ego, you will never make the front page of the Washington Post or even the Informer. You know what I'm saying? Like, some guys need to be really humble. Like, I really, to be quite honest, I don't even really like the whole featuring so-and-so on the microphone thing. Get back to the band. Like, I think that's hurt a lot of bands too, because you get into this, we're spotlighting this person,
we've talked
that person.
We talked about that before on this show. Miss Lady and I talked about that in the past, and I was trying to remember where it first started, and I remember it happening with G, because when he was doing the Wire situation, he wasn't at a lot of spots,
right?
And promoters was kind of salty, so they would actually have to go out their way and say, you know, featuring Big G. You know, and that's the first time I've remembered that, and maybe you can help me.
Yeah, because I was around G around that time, and we was doing the Ghetto Prince show, and people don't know, that was.
And you produced that,
yeah, and that's the show I created.
Right,
like I created that show. We bought it to Daryl Huckabee, and he went along with it for G. But I was around G around that time, and he was going for his, but we knew the bigger picture at that time, because we knew there were people who felt a certain way about him missing shows. They felt like he was getting a little Hollywood. That was what people were saying. But not only that,
it was affecting the turnout at the club.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, ain't no guess to that, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like the shows were empty. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like they were still, you know, they were still packing them in. They might not have been sardines, but it was tuna fish. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But I mean, the thing about that was that G was doing, but here's the one thing I can say about G, even with that. Whenever you would hear him talk or they interview him, he will always bring it back to him representing his city and his band.
That's right.
So it was never a thing where he was doing all those things and it got away from it being about the band as a whole. It wasn't just about just Big G. It wasn't like, yeah, I'm G and that's it. Nah, it was, man, I'm out here representing for my city and for my band. Even to this day, when he go on his casting calls. So, I mean, he's kind of a different case, because he actually put himself out there. He's actually made some head waves nationally, being on these shows and stuff like that. And he's connected all of that to him being in his band. So, I mean, I can't say that was a negative for him. At the end of the day, I think he would take those couple of shows where people was beefing for what they got right now, you know. And what they got right now could arguably be the best show in go-go right now. And I don't even have to go see him to tell you that. I mean, you can just look at the Echo Stage shows and stuff like that. I mean, just look at the presentation when they on stage. I mean, of course, bands could do more, but I mean, given where they've come from and where we are now, yeah. I mean, he definitely did what he had to do to put his band in a good position. And I just think locally, other guys and bands can do the same thing, you know, if they believe in themselves to do it.
I'm gonna tell you, I used to sit down with the Godfather, Chuck Brown, and we used to talk. Mm-hmm. And I never said this on air. I mean, we had a conversation one time right before one of his last interviews, matter of fact, on GoGo. Not one of his last interviews on GoGo Radio. One of his last interviews was on GoGo Radio. And matter of fact, it was on the Blend Show at the time. And first of all, please forgive me. Let me shout out. This is GoGo Radio alumni right here. This brother right here. Him, what was it, DJ Short Shot?
Yeah, me and Short Shot.
Man, had an incredible show they used to send in. And, you know, maybe we can talk about it at the end of the show that we got something else coming up from you real soon, returning back to the GoGo Radio family. But back to the point of back in the day, when I done lost that.
Talking about with Chuck. When you
yeah. But I was talking to Chuck, and he used to say to me that I used to ask him, you know, his opinion as far as as far as go moving forward and out, you know, and why bands are not as successful with him. Why don't they use the blueprint that he has put down for it? And his response to me was like, "Hell with the rest of them. You know, if they don't want to put in that work, ain't nothing I can do about it. You know, all I can do is keep doing what I do. You know, and hopefully they will catch on."
That's funny, because Chuck was one of our first guests with the Wild Boys on our first night. As a matter of fact, we got to talk to Chuck, and Chuck said one of the most important things that kept him successful is the fact he paid his band.
Oh, yeah.
He paid his band members.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, definitely.
That's important. I mean, that goes to another thing, too, what you said earlier about the hired musicians and stuff, man. A lot of these guys are good, and they're not going to just go and just play and watch other people make money and they get nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we are now because, you know, it's hard to get 9 people to be on the same page with growth and production and stuff. So that's why you have a lot of these hired musicians. But Chuck made sure, you know, to keep his band tight, he had to pay his guys. So,
hey, you know, I gotta laugh with that because a lot of memories of these various different bands I hear complaining. Band members complain about this situation that they've been in, and that's why they say that they, you know, hop from band to band. Because it's about the dollar for them. And I personally, I can understand you want to be paid your worth. You know, I can understand that. Don't get me wrong. Everybody should be paid their worth. I just think that if that's your drive, just to make money, then I think that the quality of the product should be a hell of a lot better.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I think it should be a hell of a... Now, we got our little cranking show. That's why, like you said, when you spoke of a couple of different bands, Backyard, Junkyard, for sure. To me, the premier band that if I was going to show anybody, this is what go-go is, and this is what it sounds like, this is the proper representation of go-go, Junkyard would be the first band I show.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They are the
they are the standard bearer.
They are the
me.
standard go-go band that you would want people from the outside of the area to see first. To be quite honest, if you want to get that pure go-go, like I mean, just think about whenever these artists when they come here, a lot of times when they cover a go-go song, like Queen Latifah, she'll do Sardines.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like even like Fantasia, she does Overnight Scenario. You know, you heard the Roots do Sardines on Jimmy Fallon. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's certain bands out here, but we mentioning these bands because they invested in their brand over the years. Even if they decided tomorrow to play a bunch of covers, that's all right with their fans. You know why? Because we can always go pull out that Creeping from the Hood. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Or one of those albums on the cranking classic joints they did. Same thing with Backyard. Or man, I want to mention Northeast, but I mean.
Hey, look, man, I'm not going to let you duck that Northeast rack.
Nah, I'm not ducking it at all. I'll be dead ass with you about Northeast Groove is the most disappointing story in go-go. To be quite honest with you. It's very disappointing. And I'm just saying this personally, like, I've had a chance to speak to rapper like once or twice, and this is years past. I don't even think he probably would remember it, but I know where his heart is. I know where his skill set is. I've gotten to know Hug and Maestro and Doug and Stomp. I've known Stomp forever.
Happy birthday, Hug, tomorrow, that is.
Yeah, my man Big Daddy, man. My man Big Daddy, he was gonna come out tonight to Martinis.
Yeah?
But he's going down Miami.
Oh, that's right, he did say that.
You know what I'm saying? He heading down Miami.
Yeah.
But
Hug, Super Coop.
Yeah, man,
Lisa
Super Coop birthday.
World.
Happy birthday, Lisa of the World, Super Coop. But the thing about Northeast that kind of irritated me, and it's only been happening recently. Like, I really don't feel like guys understand how the name Northeast Groovers overrides all this other nonsense. All these different brands and this me stuff. Yo, if it ain't about the collective unit of Northeast Groovers, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just speaking as a fan. I don't know any of the inner workings, what's going on business-wise. I mean, you can watch the FB Live interactions between band members and kind of get your own opinion on what's going on. But I'm only going to speak from a fan aspect, from the outside, as somebody who really enjoyed Northeast Groovers when they was a band. I believe they the most disappointing story because, you know, things didn't have to be aired out the way that it did publicly, you know. I know that band when they was tight together in Icebox, that was a family, especially when Miss Pratt was alive. And I'm sure if she was alive, she would not appreciate.
Oh, it wouldn't have went down.
Yeah, I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate how things have been discussed on Facebook Live because guys got to understand, man, a lot of these people who tune into these Facebook Live feeds sometimes as part of the crowd, they don't have your best interests at heart. They really there just to stir shit up. So excuse my French, but that was the only way I could really explain it. You know, they really there to keep stuff going. And they don't really understand at the end of the day that this is bigger than just what's going on stage. These guys are family. And it's a blower to see guys sometimes go back and forth. You know, all people want to do is see them play. You know, I was at Rapper's birthday party at Ibiza when Northeast Groovers was supposed to come back. I was there. I was sitting. Yeah. Me and Killer Kyle was standing beside each other the whole night behind the PA booth in the back, and we was talking throughout the show. And you know, like this. I mean, I just wish that night would have went a little bit differently than it went. Because that night could have really, you could see the numbers. The city was ready for Northeast Groovers to be back that night. They were ready. Yeah. They were ready to start seeing Northeast Groovers on the regular again. And, you know, unfortunately, for whatever reasons, things just could never work out. That's why I say, you know, it's kind of like the most disappointing story. Because you need the parity. You needed that, man. They added something different to the game. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't in the backyard lane. They wasn't necessarily in the junkyard lane. It was kind of like in the middle. They gave you a little bit of everything. And their crowd used to, you know, kind of tell the story for them too, because they wasn't just pulling one side of the area. They was pulling the whole area. Yeah. Maryland, Virginia, and D.C. Yep. So, I mean, you can't do nothing but respect that, even if you in a band. You can't help but to respect the contributions that Northeast Groovers made for other bands by expanding the reach of go-go. And they really did that. They really did.
No doubt. Look, we could talk about that situation for a long time, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the situation that's getting ready to go down tonight.
Yes, sir.
Tonight at Martini.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
tonight at Martini's, we talk about the What Band, each and every Thursday, What Band, and DJ Mix at Martini's from 9 p.m. to 2. We want y'all to slide on through because we're going to be celebrating my main man's 20th anniversary in the game. All right? And it's what do you say, it's a $1 special?
$1 tonight, man. I think it's $1 all night too. A $1 party.
$1 all night? Are you kidding me?
I think it is. I know it's $1.
Hey, Busta Move, can you call in 240-389-3397? 240-389-3397. Need you to call in, man. Let us know what's good, man. What's really good.
I want to thank them too, man, for having me tonight as well too, man. Jadaika and her husband Busta Move, man. Jadaika, we went to school together, graduated from Oxon Hill, man. So it's all love, man. I appreciate y'all in Martinis, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Keep it locked right here. You're tuned into the GoWIN Radio Show right here on GoGo Radio Live, Win DC Radio, all wrapped up in GoWIN.media. I'm sitting here with my main man, Malik, the Freak.
Yes, sir.
This is the last time you're going to be able to call him that. Get it in while you can. Yeah.
You are live with the GoWIN Radio Show, hosted by Ms. Lady and Nico the Go-Go-ologist.
What's up, family? This is Reverend Tony Lee, the pastor of Community of Hope AME Church, lower level of the Iverson Mall, and I want to welcome you and tell you to come and join me, Community of Hope, each and every Sunday morning, 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 noon. That's right, 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 noon, lower level of the Iverson Mall. We say it every Sunday that we're the Community of Hope, where everybody has a chance, and we don't care who you are, what you've done, who you did it with. Don't care if you did it last night, woke up doing it this morning, but when you get to church, you're in the right place at the right time to become all that God has called you to become. Don't you worry about getting out your best suit. You come as you are, because God loves you just as you are. That's Community of Hope AME Church, lower level of the Iverson Mall. And did I tell you we got that crank? You need to get some further information or to watch us streaming online. www.hiphopenation.com. www.hiphopenation.com. This your man Reverend Tony Lee's in them. All right, I'll holler and I'll see you there.
Are you short on money? Is your computer acting up? Call my main man, Tony Ray. For $50, PC repairs include troubleshoot one computer using all the proper tools. Remove all viruses, spyware, malware, and rootkits on the computer. Repair any operating system issues, including boot issues, blue screens, etc. Apply system tweaks and modifications. Test operating system for proper functionality. Provide you with an estimate cost for hardware repairs or upgrades needed to provide a complete working PC. Call today. Tony Ray, 202-681-0326. Mobile services also available. He will come pick up your computer and drop it off. Most jobs are done within 24 to 48 hours. One more time. Call Tony Ray, 202-681-0326.
On Crank Hunting with Go-Go Craig, I go searching for the freshest crank on the planet. Every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, I bring you 2 hours of the hottest new go-go music, go-go mashups, and bootleg go-go remixes I can find.
Everyone in Jamaica wants to hear more mashup of go-go tunes and other styles of music.
And so do I, but the problem is I'm running out of crank, so I'm looking for a new connect. And that's when it hit me. I do what we do in sound system culture when we need producers to send us music. I'm holding a sound clash.
Go-Go Craig is holding a crank clash, where two songs will battle head to head to see who cranks the highest.
So any go-go bands or producers who want to compete in the crank clash?
King April is calling all of the bedroom producer, sound system, and go-go bands to email gogocraig@gmail.com.
Remixes of classic go-go songs that mash up of go-go tunes and other styles of music.
A new crank clash every Saturday at 8 p.m. only on Go-Go Radio Live.
WinDCRadio.com of the Greater Metropolitan Area is not responsible for any incorrect or inaccurate content spoken by its on-air talents. The views and comments of its on-air talents, hosts, and guests are not those of WinDCRadio.com. In no event shall WinDCRadio.com be liable to you or any third party for any direct, indirect, consequential, exemplary, incidental, special, or punitive damages, including lost profit damages arising from your use of their website, even if Peak Broadcasting has been advised of the possibility of such damages. WinDCRadio.com is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey man, it's your main man, DJ Batman, coming to you live from GoGo Radio Live. Right here, each and every Friday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Tune in and turn up for my rush hour party. Let's get the weekend started together. Y'all ready to party? Y'all know how I get down, man. It's the one and only DJ Batman. You know what I'm saying? It's showtime.
I got to eat it. We'll get freaky, baby. A Southwest in here. And get freaky, baby. A Maryland in here.
Love song.
Get freaky, baby. Good to see all my hard stars came through here. We are Persevere Band the Show 2018. We are here. Yes, indeed. Going out to that whole goddamn Clay Tub crew. Hey, wait a minute. Yeah. Hold it now. Persevere is here. Good to see that whole Landover crew. Kenilworth Avenue.
That right there is Persevere Band. And they have just been added to the Iverson concert series. They're going to be opening up for Subtle this Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. right here at the Shops at Iverson. We're going to be right out in front of the Burlington Coat Factory right there, right outside. Want y'all to come on through. The weather's supposed to be fantastic this Saturday. Slide on through. Check out Persevere Band and Subtle.
Put the writings on the wall, said we wasn't supposed to be nothing.
radio edit right there. I forgot. I thought
man.
The long version, like 14 minutes long.
I show some love, my man Sterling and Tamika, man. That VMG crew, man.
Yes, indeed.
You know?
Yes, indeed. Hey, you gotta love it. That right there was Be Free right there by Miss Tamika Joy.
Yeah.
Shout out to that queen right there and her king, my main man Sterling. Be looking out for some good things coming from them.
Absolutely.
Soon.
Absolutely.
Real soon.
I'm part of that VMG.
Okay.
So, yeah.
There it is.
Yes,
there
indeed.
it is. So, look, you got a hell of an anniversary coming up, 20 years. 20 years of anything is a hell of an accomplishment.
Yeah.
But in this radio game, as fickle as it is, and as you see people come and go all the time, from station to station, you've been over on the XM Sirius side for how long now?
Next year it'll be 10 years.
10, damn. I didn't even know it was that long.
Yeah. Next year it'll be 10 years at
10
Sirius.
years over there. Tell our listeners what is the main difference between terrestrial radio and satellite?
Freedom and creativity. You know what I'm saying?
You said that quick, too.
Yeah, man. Because that's why most personalities, once they get this serious, they don't leave. Mm-hmm. You got the freedom and you have the freedom to be creative.
How so? Give us how the programming, like, let's give us an example, like for the programming, the typical programming on terrestrial radio in a 4-hour block versus how long are the blocks anyway in the XM?
XM blocks can be between 2 to 4 hours.
Okay.
You know.
So give us a breakdown. Like if you do a 4-hour block for terrestrial, if you want to produce a 4-hour block for a terrestrial station via a satellite station.
Well, usually with satellite, a lot of research is done. A lot of the stations are used to educate listeners. That's why they have so many, like the 60s and 70s stations. And they usually bring in people who can actually tell stories, who are actually around, who are very well versed in a lot of those different genres and those different stations. Same thing with LL Cool J's station. You want to bring in some MCs that can tell some stories.
LL got his own station now?
He got his own, one of the most popular new stations we got on there. LL has a new station. Kevin Hart's new, he took over Jamie Foxx's Foxhole. Yeah, so it's the Kevin Hart LOL station. Kevin Hart show is live every Monday at 7 o'clock. Earthquake has a show every day at 4 o'clock.
Our Earthquake?
Yeah, the Earthquake from DC has a radio show on Kevin Hart's network every day at 4 o'clock on Sirius. You know what I'm saying? See, when you hear that man, you know, that $10, $11, $12 don't sound too bad. You're going to get some quality entertainment.
Right.
So, I mean, that's what it is. And, you know, a lot of the stations are, you know, uncut, you know, content-wise. If you want to hear regular, clean-cut radio, you can get that. I mean, you just got options. It's options. That's the difference. Terrestrial radio, I mean, when we was on the radio, you felt like you had a little bit of that creativity. It's a little different now.
A little?
Well, it's a lot different because you have a lot of program directors who are they're kind of in the bed with these record labels right now. You know what I'm saying? They kind of handcuffing each other because no way the radio is supposed to sound the way they sound. And you can tell there are a lot of good personality that's on the radio right now, and I feel for them because I don't feel like they're in a no-win situation. Like they want to do things, they might want to be creative, but it's just the atmosphere doesn't really create that type of, you know, atmosphere for them. Like the way that the station is being ran, you know, sometimes it doesn't create that atmosphere for a personality to be that creative, and that's what's hurting terrestrial radio right now. I'm serious, you don't have that problem. They just steady trying to push the envelope, trying to always figure out ways to push it. You know what I'm saying?
When I was working with KISS, matter of fact, you was at the same time. A lot of the programming didn't even come from the area. A lot of people didn't know that we was actually programmed from Atlanta. You know, we had programming, you know, as far as the shots were being called.
Well, there were levels at Radio 1. One of our main corporate presidents at the time, Mary Catherine Sneed, I think she was located in Atlanta. But it wasn't until later on, like years after I'd already been there, that they discussed having an independent counsel, a person that would kind of monitor, well, now kind of listen and kind of filter out new music, depending on, there was some type of business deal that they was trying to get going with the radio, with the record labels. But with DC was always different because DC program directors had the freedom, especially with Steve Hegwood, because he really didn't care too much for anybody else's opinion when it came to how he did things on any level. He was going to do it the way he was going to do it, whether you liked it or not. And he was successful for a lot of years doing it that way, and people followed him on that. I just think now, I think because of the record labels, and you got to have a program director that has the heart to tell a record label no. Like, if you're going to give me these garbage artists, then I'm not going to play these garbage artists because they need the spins. And yeah, we need to play music. But at the same time, I'd rather play so-and-so R&B album than keep playing this garbage music all day because this is all you guys want to send me. So you got to have a PD that's going to dig in and tell these record labels, nah, I'm not going to program my radio station like this. You know what I'm saying? This is what I want. This is how my station is going to be programmed. That's all. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's going to have to take a strong-minded PD to do that. You need somebody like a Steve Hegwood or Daryl Huckabee, somebody who really didn't care. They just understand each market is different. You can't program each city the same way. You just can't.
But is that even possible nowadays to bring in a PD like that? Because it seems that everything, at least in the D.C. metropolitan area, everything is cookie cutter.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get. Like HUR, they're ingenious because they found a niche, their demographic, and they don't go outside of that.
Nah, I think out of all the stations here, HUR really deserves that positioning statement as saying they sound like Washington.
Yes.
Because I really believe they are the foundation music-wise for how the city is. If you think about our identity music-wise, it's not just go-go. It's a really heavy, like R&B, jazz,
That's right.
poet, musical foundation here in D.C. It's not a hip-hop town by no means. I know guys out here really trying to cut their teeth doing the hip-hop thing, but D.C. has never been a strong hip-hop town. We like certain artists in hip-hop.
Right.
But this is not like a town where you're going to find a group of 4 or 5 guys that's having a cypher on the block. You know what I'm saying? This ain't Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? It's not Brooklyn. We like good music. We like good live music. Hell, we still like Frankie Beverly, and he can't even sing no more. But this dude can come here and do 3 shows and sell out.
And get
that,
crazy?
you know what I'm saying? Or the Whispers. You know what I'm saying? I know they was coming here forever. They ain't put out an album, but still,
They used to keep Constitution Hall.
Right. Or even Erykah Badu or Jill Scott, man. They can come to Meriwether every year, don't put out an album. It don't matter. They're going to sell it out. You know what I'm saying? Because we love who we love here. You know what I'm saying? And that's just knowing your market and just understanding the history musically of what DC is. You got to, I think that's why a lot of these stations kind of fall by the wayside because you bring in people who don't, even if they're not from the area, they don't take the time out to get absorbed in the culture. And that's the issue. Like, if you want to come to D.C., man, learn about D.C. Learn about everything so you can truly understand. And because it might change the way you think about the city. It may change your whole mentality once you learn about it. You're like, damn, I didn't know that. Damn, that's really awesome to know. More so than what you may hear about the monuments in Ben's Chili Bowl. Like that's, come on, man. If you talk to anybody that's really from the area, you ask them about Ben's Chili Bowl, 9 out of 10 people are going to say, what? It's nasty, man. Like, Ben's was cool back in the days, but like, come on,
know no better.
When you ain't know better, you know what I'm saying? Like, right now, anybody from the area, man,
it's a tourist spot.
That's all it is, man. It ain't no local spot, man. There's not no spot people locally go. Sorry to the people over Ben's Chili Bowl, man. I love them. You know what I'm saying?
Got some good food over there.
Yeah, they cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know other things about what's going on down there on that U Street corridor and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just just certain things you need to know that they won't just tell you. Those are things that you have to go out and absorb in the culture. Sometimes you got to take a walk through the neighborhoods, take a walk through your city and just absorb it. You know what I'm saying? Don't just be in your own space. I do it all the time. I do it all. I've walked from Sirius XM, New York, Florida Avenue to Anacostia several times, just so I can walk through my city and take it all in. You know what I'm saying? Even the gentrified parts. You gotta take it in. This my city. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta have people that's, I ain't saying they gotta do it like me, but you gotta wanna respect the culture of this area, man, if you wanna be successful. I don't care where you come from.
Tell our listeners why, your opinion, that is, why Go-Go has never made it to XM Sirius Radio.
Well,
because there's a lot of people. I remember when we first started at Super Dance spot.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris, matter of fact, shout out to Chris. He's right downstairs. Matter of fact, Plaza 23.
Okay.
When we started there, I used to get a lot of people say, "Why don't you take this to XM?"
Well,
go ahead.
Okay. The thing about XM is that XM is ran off of subscribers. You gotta make sure that people are going to be subscribers. They're going to buy radios. They're going to buy subscriptions. And, you know, when I've mentioned that before online about, because I've been continually trying to talk to different program directors in Sirius about having a possible go-go station. Is like I said, there's only two issues that come up. One thing is, will the go-go station produce the subscribers, a significant amount of subscribers, that it would make sense to the bottom line of, you know, the executives at Sirius in New York. Because this is not like you're dealing with PGC or KYS. You're dealing with straight nationwide music. The other issue outside of that, and that's an important issue in itself, the other issue is the lack of production of original music. Yeah, we can go.
I think that's the first and foremost
problem.
problem.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. Their bottom line too.
Yeah.
I mean, because they got some stations on there that, I mean, me personally, I think is crap. But, you know, they have an audience for those stations.
So you don't think? Oh, go ahead with your second point.
No, but I just think if Go-Go was producing more product regularly, like hip hop does, or jazz, or any of these other genres, like, we need to get more than 1 or 2 albums a year, especially when you have all these bands in this area. You gotta get more. You gotta show people on the outside that this industry is fruitful. You know, it's not just a thing where, yo, you need to go to so-and-so club to go see this band play. Nah, I mean, these people are not gonna go to your shows. They're not. But they're gonna wanna hear the music, but they're not gonna go to the shows. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of these people not even in the area too that like go-go. You know, you got people in California.
And that goes to my point right there. You don't think that there's a large enough listening audience for go-go for there to be one go-go channel?
If it was,
you think it would already be there?
It would have already been happening. Because it's not like it's not like they don't recognize the area. HUR has 2 channels on XM.
Really?
Yeah. White Boy and E, they did interviews on HUR's XM channel.
Mm.
You know, they did. I want to say it was Michelle Wright, because she's over there. Michelle and Easy Street are now over there at HUR. I see Michelle Wright almost every day at XM because she has a show up there too. But they definitely they've you know, had conversations about go-go on their network. So it's not like they don't recognize the area. I just think it's going to take the bands to come together and start producing more joints for the culture for people to see, because they're not going to just give it to you. You know what I'm saying? They got to feel like there's a movement, and, you know, there's going to be people that's going to follow you, you know, follow behind. We can say that because we here in D.C., so we feel strongly that, you know, that's going to happen. But once you take it outside of the bubble, then what? You know, is your music going to translate then outside of that? I mean, we probably have couple of thousand people on the outside in other states who may be tuned in, who still like go-go music. But, you know, it's going to take more. It's going to take more. And all that happens is from continuing to create, you know what I'm saying? And guys have to, they got to understand that, you know, go-go is going to go as far as the bands take it, you know? So, I mean, I know it's a lot of bands out here, so we should be seeing a lot more product, you know?
I've talked to a lot of these bands, and they came through these doors. Matter of fact, I don't think there's been we've had pretty much everybody come through Go-Go Radio, one way, shape, form, or fashion. It came through here. And we've talked about this several times about putting out product. And bands always say, oh, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I mean, hey, look, we talk about Backyard, been talking about putting out Hood Related 2 for how many years?
I thought Hood Related 2 ain't out already? That's not out?
Bruh, it's got to be a minimum of 10 years that's supposed to have been out. Okay? So, not just leaning on them, but all the bands that talk about they want to put out product. Why do you think that has not came to fruition?
I mean, some bands would say, well, I guess studio time is a bit, I guess it's costly for some bands.
Reinvesting in yourself, you mean?
I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. But this is
what it is,
right? Because this is what I've heard from bands, that studio time costs. But I'm like, you go to the studio and practice, don't you? Don't you pay for those sessions? Like, I know there's studios that, you know, you probably charge like $50 for 2-hour blocks. Right. Or whatever like I remember Eric Brown's studio, he always had the capability of recording. Right down the street. My man EB sold me my first keyboard.
EB handles the sound for the concert series.
Yeah, man, EB is a good dude, man. He's always been a good, honest, genuine dude in his game.
No doubt.
I always had respect for Eric Brown. But I mean, I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the first time you've been kind of tied up for words right there.
Yeah, man.
It's a tough situation because I'm gonna tell you. I talked to some people and they feel like if Go-Go really wanted to be out around the world, it would have been because we would have actually put the effort into trying to do something like that.
I mean,
and so I think everybody's kind of comfortable right here in our own little incubator where, you know, you might play in a venue and you might get 50 people and you think you did something.
Right.
You know, instead of putting out, because I call putting out music or reinvesting in yourself is actually reinvesting into your legacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because even you all, you know, you feel like you have an accomplishment because, hey, look, there was a period of time we put out a cranker right here. You know what I'm saying?
2 albums.
Right. What was the other one?
It's a joint.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
With the Metro.
The train. I got that.
Rap on it. My man Wendell.
Straight. What was that joint called?
I think it was Straight Cranking. I think it was.
I know it was straight because you had the 8 in the straight.
Right.
Yeah.
And we did a collabo album too. We did a collaboration album with Mike Warren with like Fatal Attraction and some other bands too. We put a joint on there. That's, you know.
Was
like
that on Bag of Beats?
Yeah. It was a compilation. Standing Room Only, I think, was the name of that mixtape.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
I got that one too.
Yeah, we put a joint on there. You know, it's 2 albums out right now. That's online, Google. Yeah. You know, you can buy them joints. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that stuff matters.
So you have a legacy. Yes.
Yeah, it matters.
You know, to where others might say, "Well, we put out this PA tape."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But our 2 albums will crush any PA tape you put out just because of their albums. You know what I'm saying? These joints are going to always live. Anybody that put out an album, Southeast Sounds, like you played some Southeast Sounds earlier, like that joint still move. You hear that in the club now.
You know one band we forgot?
What's that?
Publicity.
Oh yeah, Publicity. I mean, of course, you know, I mean, because, you know, my brother Bam and his brother, you know, I told you before, you know, his brother was connected with Publicity for a long time, man. Shout out to Buck.
Yes, he's coming home soon.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Buck and the crew, man. But yeah, man, Publicity used to crank, man. I like them, man, a lot, man.
Yeah, but I mean, you were just talking about the album as far as bands that put out stuff. Yeah. We was talking about earlier off air, the Huckabucks.
Yeah.
and they caught a lot of flack for not being edgy, as we was talking about earlier. But it was their style that what won for them. They never really went outside of their style. And while they didn't have a huge following here in the area, their music will live on forever, like you said.
Yeah.
Forever. I mean, you cannot tell me Sprinkle Me or like I played earlier, what was the cover joint that I played earlier? But anyway, I mean, they got hits for days. The Bud, you know, so on and so forth. Pure Elegance.
Yeah.
Another band.
Classic album.
Oh, man. One Leg Up, you're going to hear forever in the
one of many DJs' favorite go-go album of all time.
No
is
Diggity,
that One Leg
I was
Up.
trying to think of. No Diggity was the track.
Yeah, No Diggity.
Yeah.
But that Pure Elegance One Leg Up album is a favorite of a lot of my friends, man.
Yeah.
A lot of them love that. It was mixed perfectly. The crank on there was perfect. For
Rio
radio.
need to I'm telling you know how like the go-go, the hip-hop albums, you know, they put out a remastered digital joint. He need to go through all them crates.
And put out them old albums.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
and putting them joints back out, man, because they would sound the Southeast sounds would sound completely different.
Yeah, I've said that about certain bands. Like, you know, certain bands should think about re-recording certain joints from back in the days and putting out an old school joint. I mean, just to
reintroduce it to the new audience.
Right, because you got social media now. You got a new generation of musicians, new bands. Like, and then, you know, because sometimes people might get lost at a show. Like, you might go to a backyard show and G might say old school. You know what I'm saying? Or any of these bands, you know what I'm saying? You would like to, you know what it is exactly you're talking about, unless you was listening to, you know, to the bands back in those days. You know, you wouldn't really understand what the old school aspect of it is.
Right.
But, I mean, yeah, man, bands out here got hits, man. I think they should lean on those hits, man. Like, that's why, you know, that's why I love Northeast Groovers. They leaned on their hits. They really did lean on their hits, and they were not afraid to create. You know what I'm saying? Some of their stuff used to sound out of the world, but you know what I'm saying? It was Northeast. It was perfect for them. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's nothing wrong, man. It feels better when you playing your own stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's no stress. It's yours. You already know all the parts. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to try to have the joint sounding like the song on the radio, you know?
But I'm going to tell you, with Northeast, it was, I mean, I go back to, you know, the point you made earlier. The family atmosphere that they had around them. It was just a party feel that superseded that sometimes with the energy that they played with. And also what they displayed on stage. Which a lot of bands now, like, it's so boring to watch some of these bands nowadays. Like, I can close my eyes and get the same effect.
They like some stiffs up there, man. The band
but
cranking.
That's supposed to be cool, though.
I don't know how that's cool. Like, the band back there cranking and sweating, guys breaking drumsticks and everything, and then you got this cool-ass front line standing up there like some statues. Like, that's not cool. It's not cool anymore.
To some people.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember when backyard used to have steps. A lot of people don't remember back then. They don't do that now. Right. You know the first band I saw that really was like it was like 10 people on the front line and nobody doing nothing?
Who that?
TCB.
Oh, wow. TCB used to have a lot of featured rappers.
Yeah, but when they came out, I remember when they started, like when they was doing the Met, you know, back in the day.
Was this
Mirrors,
Hot Shot days?
But
see,
but when UCB was the headliners back in the day, all right. When TCB used to open up for UCB.
Because I used to be really close with Polo. Like, I used to go to his barbershop and everything around on 4th Street Northeast. And I remember, like, a lot of those dudes that used to hang with TCB used to just hang with them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They just used to be up
and
there.
And found their way up on the stage.
Right. You know, because, you know, Polo was the man. He wanted to have his boys up there with him and people that's with the band. And that's what it was after a while, you know what I'm saying? So, Nah, but I feel you though, man. Sometimes the front lines, the front of the stage situation be looking real crazy, man.
And if we want to take this music to the next level, we have to implement certain things that, you know, will make it appealing to the eye, because this is a visual world nowadays.
Absolutely.
You know, and so if we want to just go, not even if you don't just, because really nowadays in the music industry, your money come off touring anyway. You know, you don't really make no money putting no albums out, but it helps you get gigs outside of this area.
Yeah, absolutely it does.
You know, other than just putting out a PA tape. I don't care what it is. It helps your appearance outside, even if you want to go abroad. You know, you can't do it off a PA tape.
Yeah. Nah,
You
I
know,
mean, PA tape, PA tapes used to work for bands, but guys don't even work PA tapes no more. Like, and I mean, we saying PA tapes, but I mean, like even Orlando, Orlando still makes CDs.
Yeah,
I'm sure guys is still hitting them up for CDs and stuff, man. So it's like, it's up to the band how you want it. Like my man Anthony from Rhea. Now,
what's up, man?
I'm very fond of Ant and my man Lucky, my man Goofy. We used to play in a band together around Forest Creek years ago called Premier Band. We used to open up for Northeast Groovers at the Icebox for a shorter period of time. Was in a battle with the bands and all that. But I remember talking to Ant. Ant was one of the guys that came, but he met up and he took my invitation to come up to KYS for a music meeting to get information for his band and to network with these DJs.
I like Slim, man.
You know what I'm saying? So he's always been about the information. He gonna do whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? And I just remember talking to him and I was telling Ant, I was like, look, Ant, you know, the only way your band is gonna get to where you want it to be is if you and your band make it happen. The radio station not gonna make it happen. They're only here to enhance what it is that you're already doing in the streets. If you're not doing nothing in the streets, they ain't got nothing to enhance.
That's right. That's
You know
no
what I'm
different
saying?
from a DJ in the club when it was
Right.
just records out.
Right. Same thing with
It's
the
the
DJ.
same thing.
Like in 6 Cents, my man 6 Cents would be quick to tell you, it is not the job of the DJ to build a crowd for you as an artist or a band. That's not their job.
He's just there to give you exposure.
That's all. That's all he's there to do, is to help give you some exposure, you know what I'm saying, and to try to expand your listenership in the places where he play. But you want DJs and stuff to go out here and build a crowd for you. That's not going to happen.
And I used to say this all the time, and I want you to expand on it just a little bit, then we're going to talk about some sports.
Okay.
All right. I used to say this about the bands all the time. Like, look, one thing, but dealing with a DJ compared to you Preston wanting to play at a spot, you know, or open up for whoever. If you give some music to a DJ, or like you said earlier, give it to as many DJs as you can, your music is getting heard everywhere.
Yep.
Where you're not.
Right.
So you don't have to sit there and control that situation. Like somebody might hear your record being played in a Bumble-Uck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Town. You know what we used to say.
West
you know
Virginia.
Right.
You know, it could be anywhere.
Anywhere. Who was that?
Right.
Who was that? Oh, man, I like them.
Right.
Well, you off in Northeast somewhere, D.C., you don't even know your music being heard, but you being liked, and next thing you know, you might get a call.
Right. Like, think about those bands that's going out West Virginia. Now, my old manager runs a club out West Virginia now, one of the biggest clubs in West Virginia. And they've had shows out there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And the crowd out there has always been supportive of go-go music. But the bands, that's what I'm saying, expanding your listener base and your audience, bands need to start going out there more. You know what I'm saying? You need to start putting product out there. Take a trip one day, couple of hours ride. Once you get there, it'll be worth your time. Even if you got 5 people to become new fans, you're expanding. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody saying you got to go across the country and do this and hit every state. I mean, that would be awesome. That would be awesome if you were to work your stuff like that and just take the time out and start working your music. Because rap artists do that, no doubt. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, we just in this area alone, man. Just be willing to go outside of the bubble in this area before we even move outside of this area. I mean, you still got areas you can hit here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So, look, this area, as we know, is I don't call it, with the typical name, but the Washington football team area.
The Redskins.
That's what you want to call them, yeah.
Washington Redskins.
Okay. So
America's team.
Washington Wizards, the Nationals.
America's team.
The Capitals.
America's team.
You and I got into a little bit of a on-face. I'm not going to call it a tiff because we don't have those type of negative feelings towards each other, no matter what. About supporting a winning team that's local that you haven't been supporting before. And all of a sudden everybody's on the bandwagon, so to speak. And you can only speak for yourself, of course. But I noticed everybody jumping on social media talking about, yeah, Capitals, yeah, Capitals, yeah, Capitals. And these are the same people, it was strictly crickets. Because, first and foremost, whether you was a Capital fans or not, at the time, they've shown us in the past where they've gotten there or gotten close and folded up like chairs. So this year they got there, and I look like the bad guy because I'm like a wet blanket. Oh man, why can't you just be cool? Let us get off. They won. Okay, true. But coming up, like I'm a Laker fan, but I'm a Laker fan of 40 years. Of 40 years. Like,
where were you born?
Washington, D.C.
You were born in
but
D.C.
look, my favorite Laker went to my school, Spingarn, Elgin Baylor.
Okay.
So that's when I became a Laker fan.
Okay.
Have
you ever thought about being a Wizards fan?
Oh no, I supported. I mean, just when I got older, like when Unsettled and all that, we supported it. When they played Seattle, supported it. That's the last time we won the championship. Went back to back, or Washington, won the championship. But for me, when I saw the Lakers, it was just the colors and all that. When you're a kid, when you're 10 years old, you go, you look at the pill. I didn't have a father in the household to bring me up on the Wizards, or at that time the Washington Bullets. So I liked what I liked.
I mean,
so my question goes back to you is bandwagon. You see people now don't want to go to the Washington football stadium.
Just say Redskins. It's easier.
Nah,
Just go ahead and say it. You're not going to burn them.
So is Malik the Freak.
Yeah, I mean.
That's easier.
I'm getting older. Getting older now. Getting a little older.
Look, what is going on with the Washington area? We so fickle. We're very, very fickle. Before we actually supported home, but now it's you got a hodgepodge. I'm gonna tell you, you would have at the Washington Stadium, you have almost half Cowboy fans when the Cowboys come to town.
Let me explain that.
Right or wrong?
Let me explain that to you.
And it's not a good look.
Well, actually, for a fan that's tired of ownership, that's tired of inconsistencies with a team. You saw that in the first game of the season at FedEx this year where you had a lot of seats that was empty. Those seats were empty because the fans were in the parking lot tailgating with each other, because there's the real spirit of where the winning is. The spirit of winning is within the fans and not the players. And the fans in Washington are smart enough to understand that when a team is not producing the way that we feel like they produce, we lose interest. And we'll never lose interest in ourselves because we as fans, we're doing what we're supposed to do.
So do you think it's an actual, that the fans actually came together and said, you know what, we're gonna take a stand right here?
Absolutely.
You really believe that's what happened?
Yes. Washington Redskin fans, absolutely. That's a majority of the fans don't like Daniel Snyder. That's just flat out.
Okay.
We tolerate him because he's the owner of our team. But a majority of the fans do not like Daniel Snyder. The reason why that first game at FedEx wasn't packed and you didn't hear a lot of uproar because the fans, they don't feel right giving money to Daniel Snyder. A lot of fans
all of a sudden.
Well, dude,
but we've been stinking for years.
But at the same time, as a fan, you can't blame a fan for being loyal to their team.
Right.
They can be loyal to the team, but not the ownership.
Well, let me give people some background on you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to these, I'm talking to Malik, the freak here, about sports because this gentleman, he has a unique perspective. He does production work for for majority of all the games, right?
Yeah, for all the sports. I'm a supervisor too. Supervisor right now is my position. Supervisor for all the board operators and.
So he has a very unique perspective, different from the average fan.
Right.
Obviously, because it's your job.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different.
Boycott me? No, I don't have that luxury. Boycott.
Right. So I'm asking you these things because you see things from a different view. Why? What was the switch for the fans to say, I'm tired of this? It had to be something for this year to finally come in.
Well,
and this kick off the way it did.
I mean, first of all, the Redskins in the 80s, even the early 90s, were like the New England Patriots today. They were the class organization of the league. I mean, management-wise, coaching-wise, the quality of players that they used to bring in. I mean, you think about that year they won the Super Bowl with Mark Rippon. I think they started that year like 13, 14-0. One of the most dominant teams to have ever won a Super Bowl was that year. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Redskin fan.
No.
The actual stats
That's a fact.
and the facts back that up. That was one of the most dominant teams that had ever played a football season. I think the fans are smart enough in this area to know when we got a winner and when we don't. We haven't had a winner for the Redskins in a while. The fans support it. Despite that. But I think it's gotten to a point where when you start seeing management and ownership raising prices on parking and things inside the stadium, and yet your product is still garbage, and you expect the fans just to fall in place and just, support that. No, I think there's a disconnect. And that's not something that the fans have to go and fix. That's something that management and ownership have to fix, and the team has to fix. And the only way you fix that is by winning. And until they start winning at a level that we feel is worth the support, then you're going to see the fans doing what they've been doing for the last few years, hanging out in the parking lot, having the best damn tailgate party in sports. We got bands out there, DJs, we got TVs to watch the game. What the hell you need to go in the stadium for? Free drinks and food. You'd probably be happier in the tailgate party than you would watching them dudes play.
Right.
That's just how they, So, I mean, the fans just don't take on the mentality of a loser. You know what I'm saying? Like, the team want to play like losers, that's cool. Y'all keep on playing. The fans ain't going to absorb this. You just won't come to the games. We'll just stay home and watch Red Zone. You ain't even got to watch a whole Redskin game. Right. Go get into fantasy football and watch Red Zone. You'll enjoy football a lot better, especially if your team has been losing a lot. That's my advice. Like, for real. But I just think the fans here in D.C. are really smart. They know. They know the Redskins ain't no winners. So why would you go keep paying top dollar to see a loser team? That's all that is.
Well, I tell you what. Tonight, you don't have to pay top dollar.
Nah.
Tonight, all you need is $1.
$1 tonight.
$1 to get up in Martinis.
$1.
To come party with What Band, DJ Mix, and my main man, Malik the Freak, for his 20-year anniversary in the music game.
Yeah. What I want to do is I want to start meeting people. There's certain people in the game that I have not personally ever met, like DJ Mix. I respect him because I've always seen his name, Cabaret Flyers, and all that stuff for many years, even before I got on the radio. I mean, I'm just, looking forward to going to the guys personally, meeting them, man, shaking their hand, man, thanking them for their contribution, man. You know what I'm saying? And building a platform for me to be in the game for 20 years, man. I respect guys like him and Storm and Norman and Easy. Pompanachi, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys, Rico, you know what I'm saying? Got respect for a lot of these guys. DJ Big John as well, you know what I'm saying? So, man, respect to all you guys, man. Appreciate you guys.
Well, look, if you respect this man, we want to see you up in Martinis tonight. Come on through. When you see him, buy him a drink. Would you just drink? We just say just imported beer.
Man,
now?
imported beer tonight, man. All imported beer, man.
Okay.
Or give me a
Stella,
shot of Patron or
Heineken.
something. Stella, Heineken, yeah,
Okay,
you know how we go, you know.
Yeah.
A shot of Patron here and there, you know. I'm gonna keep it light to know. We got a whole weekend, man. A whole 4 days to
get it in.
Get it in, man.
Yes,
you know.
sir.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Also, we have a special announcement. We was waiting to the end of the show to make. So Malik and my mentor, my personal mentor. I mean, for real, Malik is one of my mentors because he was at KYS long before I was. But I knew of him when I was doing my thing on F Street and when he was doing his thing. You know, 6 Cents he brought me his very first mixtape when he was a kid and brought it to my stand and wanted to know how I thought.
I remember the stand downtown, man. Yeah,
I remember 6 when he was a kid.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But Malik and my mentor, Craig Black, they are bringing their own show to GoGo Radio Live.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Well, it's called Some Wildcats. It's a show I'm producing. I periodically come on in a personality, but the show basically is about Craig and a lot of his longtime friends. They come in, they talk about all the different subjects that's going on. They take questions on the internet. Really interactive. It's been a good show, man. We got a lot of episodes that's already out on SoundCloud. Also, we got links on Facebook. Also, we are developing a brand new YouTube page because we're going to start going live video-wise and having a channel on the YouTube going for that. So, looking forward to that in the future for that show. But it's like I said, I'm mostly doing production. I come in and host here and there. And really, that's my contribution back to the game, is that I want to start producing people's shows. Of course, it's not free, but at the same time, like, I want to be able to, I want people to believe in me enough to format and to produce a good enough show where you'll be able to be yourself and you're getting the best quality that you can possibly get. So you're definitely getting that with this show. That's going to be coming here to GoGo Radio, to GoWIN, GoGo Radio, with some Wildcats. A lot of guys went to Northwestern High School. These are all local cats from the area. So you're going to get a perspective from guys from the DMV on a lot of these subjects that you may hear on these national talk shows or whatever the case now. But you're going to get the DMV mentality about it. And you know our mentality is different.
No doubt about that.
It's different about everything. So
no doubt.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to that, man.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to y'all coming on board to the station, man. And
indeed,
it's a good look for us. I always my thought is after my accident was to really change around the programming, especially on the GoGo Radio side. And to really upgrade it. At the time when you was on GoGo Radio back in the day, I used to say this all the time to you. I thought it was probably the best produced radio show I had heard at the time, because it wasn't, when you was coming on, people weren't doing podcasts.
Right.
That wasn't even a thing. People weren't even talking about it back then.
Right.
But I was sitting in my show, you was sitting in your show, Kato was sitting in the show. Scooby and them had a show.
Right.
You know, so
it's a nice squad. That was a nice squad.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Lowell Cade, man. You know, he brought me in, man. Old Lowell.
Long time no hear, Low. So, but look, we get ready to get up out of here. We hit the 2 o'clock hour. We want to make sure you.
Damn, already?
Yeah, bro.
Oh man. Yeah, that's what's up.
We want to make sure you one more time slide on out to Martinis tonight. From 9 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Yeah, get there early.
What
man.
band? DJ Mix, my main man Malik the Freak. 20 years in the game.
Yes,
we want
indeed.
y'all to slide on through. Pull up, as they say.
$1 tonight, man. Martinis tonight. What band? You know what I'm saying? Yours truly celebrating 20 years, my man DJ Mix. Man, show some love to the bar tonight, man. That's what it's all about. Show some love. Y'all paying only $1. You got enough for the bar. You're only paying $1.
And the bartenders. A shout out to my girl, Smiley.
Smiley?
Who'll be holding that bar down. Oh, she be killing.
I'm sure I'm going to see Smiley tonight. I'm going to see Smiley tonight in Martini. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Hey,
Smiley,
look.
get that imported ready for me, baby.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. So, also, I want you all to slide on through this Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. The Shops at Iverson concert series continues this Saturday. The weather's supposed to be great. We want to see all of y'all out there. I got my band Persevere coming out there. They're going to be opening up, and Subtle. And for those of you who know me, you know, that used to be my band from back in the day. I used to co-own it and manage with my main man, Walker Reds. Subtle will be hitting the stage this Saturday at the Shops at Iverson. We'll be right outside, right in front of the Burlingtons. All right? Any last shout-outs, bro?
Yeah, man. One more last shout-outs, man. First of all, shout-outs to everybody who checked in. My brother Bam, man Troy, James, Miss Natalia.
Still
also.
Bam?
Yeah, man. That's
Bam, I need the music, man.
Bam, Nico, need the music.
Yeah,
Bam.
he said this morning he's gonna send me something fresh. I need that.
All right, that's man. So I'm make sure I stay on top of Bam, get that done. Also, man, shout out to all the promoters, man, who showed love this weekend, man. I really do appreciate y'all. Like I said, tonight Martinis, tomorrow Alba Osteria downtown, and Saturday day party at Barcode with my man Quicksilver, White Chocolate. Gonna take it back old school, and then Sunday night gonna finish off the whole weekend at Eden. That's the old I bar down I Street, right on the rooftop. It's gonna be nice weather all weekend long, man. If you ever rock with the Wild Boys Live Squad, if you ever knew Malik the Freak, or you knew Little Party Time from Oxon Hill, or whatever the case may be, man, I would love to see you tonight at Martinis for $1 or at any of the events, man. I really do appreciate you, Nico. Appreciate Go-Go Radio. Appreciate the whole Go-Go industry for the love you've shown me over the years. I will never forget it. Even though this will be the last weekend under the name Malik the Freak. Just wanna, you know, just want. But you know, it's all love, man.
You be a freak still in the heart, though, right?
Hey, man, you know, you know. But I do appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate all the love, man. And hopefully I see y'all one of these days this weekend, man. And we get it in, man. And let's have a beer or something, man. Let's
Hey, man, come on out to the concert series, man, Saturday.
Yeah, man, come down here, come check out Subtle, man, Perseverance, man. That's what's up, man.
Yeah, come on through, slide through, you know, it's free, family event, come on out. What am I supposed to be? Oh, the DC State Fair is this Sunday.
Yeah.
Michelle Blackwell, she'll be performing there.
Oh, Ron Moulton drink?
No,
that's
no. That's
else.
tonight.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Ron
That's
Moulton
tonight.
drink
Matter of fact, you coming down tonight?
I'm gonna try to. I got
Okay.
I got a pregame before I go down Martinis, man. I got a feeling Martinis gonna be. Yeah, I'm gonna need to. I'm gonna need to get a little rest in for that. You know what I'm saying?
I got you on that. So yeah, that's tonight. Michelle, matter of fact, she's supposed to be performing down there with Kim and Scooby.
Yeah, good. I love them, man. Kim and Scooby. Good God Almighty. I love you, Miss Kim.
That's I thought about it the other day. That's Listen reinvented.
Mm-hmm.
I really looked at it. If you look at that band, that's Scooby just reinvented Listen.
I don't know, man. They seem like they go a little bit harder than Listen, man. Like for real, them beats. I mean, I'm not saying there's a different, like the drop, like it's man West quick, like just the music selection and all that. Yeah, they do a little Listen, but they do a lot more cranking with Kim and Scooby than with Listen. Like Listen crank, they do, but this seems like a little bit more dirtier than Listen. You know what I'm saying?
I guess moving with the times. Right?
Yeah, and Kim, you know,
Oh,
she,
yeah. But I mean, look at who Scooby's had next to him. He started with Yanni, then he go to Kim.
Yeah,
Jesus,
he's moving them out here, man. Yeah, but I appreciate this, man. Really do, man. Thank you, man.
So
Thank
look,
you for the love.
We getting ready to get up out of here. Any other shout-outs you have?
Man, like I said, man, shout out to everybody that from my Oxon Hill family. Shout out to Jadeka and Buster Move over there at Martinis. My man Terry Frazier, Ebu, my man Ron G. Man, everybody, man, who made this weekend possible. My man Taz and Frank. Man, appreciate all y'all, all my people from KYS I used to work with, colleagues, president and former Sirius XM family. You know what I'm saying? It's all love. I appreciate y'all, man. 20 years, man. It's been nothing but love, man. Love y'all.
There it is. You heard it from the man himself.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you tune in next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, I have a beautiful young lady coming in. She will be breaking her brand new release, CD release. We'll talk about Miss Blaise Cole. Some of you may remember her from Belladonna. She has a hot new CD just came out that she's been working on for the last couple of years, and she'll be breaking it right here on the GoWIN Radio Show. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'll see y'all at the Iverson concert series this Saturday. All right? Shout out to Miss Lady.
I saw you, so I felt the urge. You know I can't do nothing without this one right here, though. Special dedication going out to GoGoRadio.com. The GoGo'ologist. Yeah. This is Stormy Saturday. Stormy Saturday. Yeah. This rainy Saturday.
Good seeing you, Wee Wee.
Yeah. Also, Miss Tracy, special request. Pick out your afro, put on your high heel shoes, put on your fine